Agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-909-8122. 800-909-8122. 800-909-8122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 125 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. No application fee if you apply by May 31st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the bike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Incentives. Price excludes 695 PF. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6, P5610964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax island license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in. Time to wrap up the month of May with this May 31st, 2024 edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Welcome in. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. Great deals on everything you need to have a fantastic summer. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Speaking of great summers, the Big Green Egg doesn't hurt. We thank the Big Green Egg for being the first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. Well, the rain is back, and that's not good because it's just in time for the weekend. Light rain this morning, but thunderstorms expected this evening, which is not good as well for the Italian Fest, which got underway yesterday. 75 degrees right now, or actually 67 right now, 75 your high today. 68 degrees for a low tonight, but again, thunderstorms possible with a chance of rain at 100%. So that's pretty bad. And then more rain in the forecast for Saturday. Unfortunately, we're looking at a high of 80 degrees. So Mother Nature, what are you doing? My favorite event of the year here in Memphis, the Italian Fest. Well, what are you going to do? Put a slicker on, put a rain jacket on, grab an umbrella, and get on out there and have a lot of fun at the Italian Fest or whatever you may be doing this weekend. Coming up on the program today, we're going to talk plenty of NBA as the NBA final is now set. The Dallas Mavericks have won the Western Conference, and they are back in the NBA Finals for the first time, I believe, in 13 years. They'll take on the Boston Celtics. We have to wait a little bit. Won't get underway until next Thursday with Game 1. We got some college sports to talk about, including another oddity when it comes to eligibility that we'll get into. Memphis basketball and the pursuit of some more players in the portal by Penny Hardaway. Memphis football, we found out yesterday a number of their kickoff times for their upcoming 2024 schedule. Not all of them, but some pertinent games that we will discuss on the program today. John Varlas will join us in studio, back from the Spring Fling, 7:25. At 8:25, we will talk with University of Memphis interim AD Jeff Crane. And then at 9:05, our buddy Derek Murray, who covers high school, college, NBA for the scouting service. We'll have him break down some of the possibilities for the Memphis Grizzlies selecting at number 9 in the draft at the end of June, and some thoughts also on the players that Penny Hardaway has put together for his 2024-2025 class for Memphis basketball. We got 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. That'll come your way at about 9:30. And we'll take your calls and your texts, as we always do, on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday to you. By the way, 10 in a row, I can tell you right now, is easy. Easy peasy. So when we get to that, if you want to win a great prize package, you got to make sure you jump on the lines early. I would almost bet that the first caller will win, unless they don't know sports.
Wow.
And if they're
bold prediction.
Bold prediction, Cotton.
First caller, going to first caller, calling a shot, calling their shot.
Yeah. And if they don't know sports, I don't know why they're listening to the program today. Anyway.
Because they're trying to learn about sports.
Yeah,
we're here to educate.
I guess so. And the rain is not going to dampen anybody's spirits. Well, Zach and I got it right as far as Dallas eliminating Minnesota. Thanks for showing up, Timberwolves. Boy, that was a fun game last night. If you like intrigue, if you like drama, if you like those last-second heroics, boy, you loved last night. Blech.
The first half of that game, now granted, I mean, Luka's Luka, and he was on it from the get-go. Like, and some of those shots, like, not much you can do about it. He's pulling up from 30 and doing his thing. But my goodness gracious. Like, have a little pride. You're on your home floor, for goodness sake.
And they haven't been good on their home floor.
To be down by 29 at halftime of an elimination game on your home floor is about as embarrassing as it can get.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like what they talk about the broadcast. It felt like they just wanted to avoid getting swept,
right.
And they were completely fine. Like after that, they're like, "We're not going to come back and win the series, so who cares? We avoided the sweep. We're done. Let's get ready for the offseason." That is a pathetic performance by a team. Again, on your home floor, and that's in front of your fans, and that's the effort you give.
Mm-hmm.
That is incredibly bad.
That's why I was impressed with Indiana in the Eastern Conference Final, despite getting swept by the Celtics. They, you could argue, outplayed the Celtics 3 out of those 4 games. Unfortunately, they didn't have their star Tyrese Halliburton for games 3 and 4. But in front of the home crowd, they put maximum effort. Now, down the stretch, they didn't execute. But they put maximum effort, gave the fans something to cheer about, gave them something to be proud about, and they lost. They lost going down swinging. Minnesota did not go down last night going down swinging. The effort was not there. It was absolutely disappointing. For the fan base, it had to be disappointing, although they were certainly supporting them in the end and, doing all they could do to show their love for this team. And they had a great year. But that was not only a blah ending, that was just an ending that in professional sports, even amateur sports, you should never see. You should never see a team who's fighting to stay alive fight like that, which was no fight at all. That's you can't have that. You cannot have that. And yet, Dallas punched him in the mouth to begin that game. But that's when you got to pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and start swinging yourself. And once they got hit, it's like Tyson, especially in the early years of his career. First punch, dude was done. Whoever he fought, guy was done. He wasn't coming back. He was petrified after that point. Well, Minnesota seemed petrified last night. After Luka punched him in the mouth, you're talking about a 35-19 lead after the first quarter, a 17-1 run to end the first quarter, which would go on to be a 22-1 run to start the second quarter. And Luka had 20. 20! Luka outscored Minnesota. He outscored the whole team. And then Kyrie got he got hit going as well. I said when we were making those predictions that I felt after the dynamic duo of Anthony Edwards and Carl Anthony Towns, when they outplayed Dallas in Game 4, their dynamic duo, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, despite Doncic having a triple-double in that game, I thought the two from Minnesota outplayed them. I said, no way it's going to happen again. Luka and Kyrie are coming back with a vengeance. Then you got Derek Lively back, and Derek Lively came off the bench but played 25 minutes. Looked like he got hurt again there when he went down hard. But that guy is tough as nails. Young player, showing his moxie. 9 and 8 off the bench to go along with 3 blocks. But how about Daniel Gafford? The way he's played in this series. He's been fantastic. And then you throw in what P.J. Washington brings to the table. Some good bench production from some other guys. They got Kleber back. I think Green's been good. Look out, Boston. That's all I'm saying. Look out, Boston. If you think Boston is waltzing through and ripping Dallas in 4 or 5, you're mistaken. And I'm not sure. I might be even leaning toward taking Dallas to win the whole thing. But getting back to this game last night, it was a dud. It was a dud. Dallas went in there on a mission, and Minnesota wanted no part of it.
Yeah, I mean, when Luka comes out like that, I mean, that is here's just like, fans, don't talk trash to Luka. Because he will inevitably do stuff like that, and then he's going to give it right back to you. Like, it's a worthless battle. I mean, the dude is playing some unbelievable basketball right now, and he has complete control of the game, seemingly at all times. And I mean, when he comes out shooting like that, I mean, there's just nothing you could do. I don't know, because he's such a great passer too. Obviously the smart thing would do, but make him pass it. Like, don't let him continue to beat you. Like, okay, let's see if somebody else will hit a shot. So run double teams at him, do something. Just get the ball out of his hands if you can, because he certainly wasn't going to miss in that first quarter. I mean, it was just one of those performances. You just part of that you tip your cap to. But again, like, if you're Minnesota, there's got to be a little bit of resistance. There's got to be a little bit of effort. I mean, it didn't matter who they put on him. They're losing him, and he's getting open looks. And then the whole team kind of just sat back and was like, all right, he's got the first quarter. Like, we're good. He's got the first quarter. And then, like, we'll just kind of chime in when we're needed. And then the second quarter, Kyrie starts going. And then when both of them are going, there's nothing you could do. Lively ends up not missing a shot in the entire series.
16 for 16.
Knows exactly where his shots are coming from. He's not gonna take a shot basically other than a layup or dunk. The lobs, everything else. That's incredible for that. in again, elimination game on your home floor to be down by 36 points and just never in the game. Never were a threat whatsoever to win the game. It was from the get-go, you were out of it and never had a chance.
Broadcast team trying their best. Reggie Miller, if they hit the three here, they're within 23. They pulled it within 23. Sorry, Reg, it was never going to be this miraculous comeback. It never was in the cards. Luka also had 10 rebounds. He had the most rebounds and the only Maverick to be in double-digit rebounds. You look at a guy like Rudy Gobert, who's 9'7", 5 rebounds. Luka gets in the right spots, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, double-teamed. He's able to pass out. And they got a little lackadaisical in the third. They could have won this thing by 50. They got lackadaisical in the third. They started jacking shots and turning the ball over a few times. But, my God, it was a laugher. How about the exchange between Luka and Snoop Dogg? Snoop's got the expression on his face like, oh, my God, this guy?
Yeah, Luka has interactions with any fan that's near the court, especially if they want to try and talk to him. Like, he is not afraid to come back at you in a good or bad way.
See, there are a lot of great athletes and great performers in the world of sports. The great ones are the ones that put their money where their mouth is, that when there's pressure, they come through. When they're being dogged by somebody, they show that person up. That Luke is one of those guys. You're right. Don't edge on the guy. Don't add fuel to the fire because that's what he does. Somebody on X yesterday, they posted a picture. Poor Steve Bartman. That guy cannot. There's no comparison to what that guy did last night in giving a little more extra fuel for Doncic to what Bartman did. Two different things, but I laughed at trying to compare. Like, that's what spurred on, who the hell the Cubs play in that game?
Marlins.
The Marlins. Spur on the Marlins. No, I mean, the guy was trying to catch a foul ball. But, yes, you're right. Anybody who tries to go after him, he shows them up and shuts them up. And then, I can't say enough about Kyrie Irving. It is a different dude. Now, off the court, I don't know. He's still with his conspiracies and wacky thinking and all that, and he can do whatever the hell he wants. But on the court, he is engaged. He loves Doncic. I don't know at first if they had a relationship, but, man, those guys are playing off each other. And I like what Van Gundy and Reggie Miller have been saying about where they stand in history as far as bucket makers, offensive players, whatever that argument was last night, that they've had the argument, or the debate, I should say, and then Shaq and Barkley and Kenny Smith look at it maybe differently. But you can make that argument about Irving and Doncic because there are two guys in that backcourt that at any time can have the ball and do have the ball and can make a play, whether it's them scoring, not needing any help really, to be honest with you, whether it's Doncic falling back and one leg and knocking down a 25-footer, or Kyrie blowing by somebody and finishing at the hole, that those guys can not only score and score with the best of them, but can distribute with the best of them. So I think that's what their argument is, those two guys together. There's great point guards, there's good shooting guards, but two guys that can run an offense together. That's why most of us didn't think it would work, that they'd have two guys that need the basketball. Look at Atlanta with Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. It has not worked, and more than likely one will be dealt in the offseason. But this has worked. But the biggest moves that this team made was going out and getting P.J. Washington and getting Gafford at the trade deadline. It's taken this team to another level. Gafford was great. He wasn't so good in the last series. He was fantastic. And now you got Lively. I'm already looking at the matchups with Boston. Wow. I think that could be an epic series. I really think it's going to be a great series. So many different bucket makers and defenders just plain old scores. But Minnesota, after the game, Edwards and Cat and Finch, the coach, they talked about, the season, disappointment of how it ended, but a great season, and run it back next year. I don't think there's any question that they're going to run it back next year. See, I look at Minnesota and I go, that was a really, really good year. I look at Dallas if they lose in the NBA final to Boston, and I go, that was a really, really good year. If Boston loses in the NBA final, I look at it and go, that was a disappointment. Sorry, that's the way I can't look at them all the same. Dallas was the 5th seed. Minnesota was the 3rd seed. Think about next season. Just think about it for a second. How many bad teams are going to be coming out of the West? Now, again, with the assumption that the Grizzlies are healthy, that the other teams around the league are healthy. Teams like the Spurs, they're only going to get better with Wembanyama. The Rockets, a young nucleus that's only going to get better. I think they're going to figure out something in Phoenix. LeBron's not done yet. The Clippers are good. They'll figure out something, too, to tweak. Not even to mention Denver, Oklahoma City on the rise. We'll see about New Orleans with Zion and what they got to do. Maybe dealing Ingram. I don't know. But the only teams I look at going into next season and go, I don't know if they'll be any good at all, is Portland and Utah. I think it's going to be unbelievable. But it makes it harder and harder and harder for Memphis with these teams. The improvement that you've seen with Minnesota, with Oklahoma City, and now with Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good young players in the Western Conference, and that are, and the Grizzlies are in that category with some of those good young players that are getting better, and it's getting the right pieces around them. The most important thing is staying healthy, and that's going to be the key thing. When you look at Minnesota, obviously Mike Conley's getting older, but Anthony Edwards is certainly coming into that spotlight and becoming one of the true superstars of the league. And they've got a good young piece. Again, they're in a salary cap bind, and they are in an ownership bind because they don't know who actually is going to own them, which is a rare thing, weird thing to be dealing with. And I don't even know when that will wrap up. I have no idea what the timeline is to get that wrapped up to decide who their owner will be going forward. But, this NBA Finals, now you get Kyrie versus his former team, and things did not go well for him at all in Boston. I'm sure there will be a not exactly a warm welcome for Kyrie in Boston.
Do they?
They are not real friendly to certain people there in Boston. You got Porzingis, if he does return, which I would assume at least at some point in the series he will play.
I think so.
He goes against his former team in Dallas. So you got those storylines. Obviously, you got plenty of star power with Tatum and Brown, Luka and Kyrie. This is it could very well be a fun series. Boston is the favorite, no surprise. They're a minus 225 favorite. It opened up at Dallas at plus 185 for the series. But yeah, it could very well be a really fun series with hopefully a lot of shot making, because you got a lot of guys who can make a lot of shots, and hopefully we get competitive games and a good long series. It'd be fun.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be terrific. I'd be very surprised if it's not. One other topic real quick, and then we'll take our first break. John Varlas will join us on the other side. If you missed this news yesterday, John Rothstein first on this one. Opening night of the 2024-25 college basketball season will be Monday, November 4th, and the Memphis Tigers will be playing on that day. According to Rothstein, Memphis versus Mizzou in a battle of Tigers at FedEx Forum. That's the return game from last year's game in Columbia, that game in which Memphis had the huge second half and ran Mizzou out of their own gym. But the Tigers versus the Tigers set for Monday, November 4th. In the meantime, as we've expected, Penny Hardaway, according to reports, working hard, looking at what's available in the portal, and there's still, I think, some talent in the portal, some players that will demand a lot more than others, but Penny Hardaway scouring that. We figured after the David Jones announcement, and one report has Memphis pursuing Florida State transfer Jameer Watkins. He's a 6'7" wing, averaged 15.6 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, shot 34% from three, 2.7 steals and blocks per game. Yesterday there was the report that Trevon Brazile, former Arkansas Razorback, is another guy that they're pursuing. So for those who are wondering about what Penny will do, I don't think there was any question that we figured that he'd be pursuing a player or two from the portal, because you look at that roster, and while it's intriguing, I don't look at it and go, oh, that's a slam dunk NCAA tournament roster. So Penny's trying to look and fill some of those voids. If he can, try to fill, well, it's very hard, a 22-point per game scorer in David Jones, who you lost.
Go get Wooga.
I know Eli wants Wooga. Maybe they'll go after Wooga. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Great place for lunch today, for dinner this weekend. Bring the family over to Corky's. They're located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. You got an event coming up, whether it be corporate, for your work, for home, family reunion, whatever the case may be, big birthday celebration, anniversary, whatever the case may be, block party. Who knows what's coming up, right? Well, if you know and you want it catered, give Corky's a call. They've been in existence for about 4 decades. They've been catering that entire time. That delicious, slow-smoked barbecue. When you head on over to Corky's, they have a lunch special every single day. A third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase a barbecue sandwich or their award-winning catfish plate. Any entree, pick up a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue also has a private party room at the Cordova and Olive Branch location. So again, you got a little family reunion, birthday celebration, whatever the case may be. Contact them, find out more about that, and just reserve your date and time for Corky's and the private party room. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EB6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG 510 849. MSRP 38305. Forte LXS RE 78169. MSRP 21820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit dealers.
I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia southbound Mariah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 do it signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 do it signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges on your tax debt daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you will owe even more tomorrow. and it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima Tax have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-480-6932. That's 800-480-6932. 800-480-6932.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Carterville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in town Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. In the clearing stages of an accident out here, and did have some injuries at Overton Crossing just north of Coring as traffic starts to pick up in the last 15-20 minutes out here on I-40 westbound as you come past Germantown Parkway. Traffic's been in pretty good shape so far, coming up from the south on 55 going northbound up through South Haven. Now it's still blocked over here on 3rd Street just near Holmes due to a structure fire. Again, that looks like it's going to be closed for quite some time on 3rd Street, so make note of that. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry here in Memphis has specialized in bridal ring purchases since 1984. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour number 1 here on this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings, the final day here in the month of May. And, of course, being Friday, that means it's time for John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and much more at dailymemphian.com. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis, where the pros and preps go to get their shot on. Shoot 360 Memphis. Now here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning Daily Memphian prep reporter, but so much more. He is the Prince of Darkness. He is John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. He joins us every Friday, and he's brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis. Good morning, John.
Hey, guys. Shoot 360 Memphis. Yes, the best place for anybody from preps to the pros to learn how to shoot better, more effectively, more consistently. You know, they've got the best technology, stuff that was developed by NASA and all these other people much smarter than me to help track your shot and your trajectory. You can get real-time readouts and printouts to analyze exactly what you're doing wrong. And what you can do to correct it. They will definitely get your shot right. I know of people that have used it personally, and they've certainly improved their shooting through it. And good news, good news, bad news. The bad news is they were going to open their brand new location in Cordova on June 1st. That's been pushed back to July 1st due to some unforeseen situations. But the good news is they will be maintaining the facility at 85 Market Street in Collierville. So now you will have the option to pick the Collierville location or the Cordova location, whatever best suits you. So give them a call, 901-316-5550. Collierville, Cordova, same phone number, same great people in charge of both, and they'll get you right. Shoot 360 Memphis. It's the best place to hone your basketball skills that I know of.
I was once told that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's what a wise man once said, and you got to get out there and shoot it. And speaking of shooting, do you know who would not be behind by 16 points after the first quarter of a must-win playoff game?
Who?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
You're right.
So
You're right. I'm not going to argue that.
So we can officially put the Anthony Edwards as the next Michael Jordan comparisons to bed. Long-standing bone to pick with that, but a bone related to this playoff series. I've got a bone to pick with Michael Finley. To be honest with you, did you see what Michael Finley?
Yeah, I glanced over. I saw a Michael Finley reference. Give me the details.
So Michael Finley is a former Dallas Mavericks.
Right.
One, probably on the Mount Rushmore of Dallas Mavericks players. Great player. Now he's in the front office. I think he's the vice president of basketball operations for the club. So after the game last night, Luka Doncic is there in the backstage area, the locker room area. Not in public view. Hanging out with his dad, leaning up against the wall, and Luka's sipping on a frosty cold one. Right? He's got a beer after the game. Right? So he's 25 years old. He's got a beer after the game. He's hanging out with his dad. Michael Finley comes over there, shakes his dad's hand, and takes the beer away from Luka.
Are you serious?
Like a parent would take something away from a child that they're not like if your child's playing with a turtle, for example, you just take it away. You don't want their.
So he wasn't kidding around. He took it and left.
No, his look was clearly of a man that's not kidding around. And to emphasize, I am generally anti-alcohol. These lips have never touched a beer personally, but at the same time, Luka Doncic is a grown man, and if anyone deserves a cold one after that kind of performance, I think he should be allowed to have a beer and chill out there with his dad, away from the eyes of the fans and the public. And I don't know.
What was Luka's response?
I just kind of sat there and shrugged, because essentially that's one of his bosses. So yeah, I'm sure you can find the video.
Yeah, I read something about Finley. I never saw the video.
Yeah, so I've got a bone to pick with you, Mr. Michael Finley.
Good bone to pick.
Did they have it in the locker room?
It was in the locker room area. Like I say, it was.
Were they celebrating? Like, did they have? I didn't, because I turned that game off well before the end of the game.
It wasn't a celebration per se, like with.
He was just having a beer after the game.
He's just standing there, leaning up against the wall, back against.
No, that's
the
what I'm saying. Were the other guys in the locker room doing the usual celebration, spraying?
I don't know. I didn't watch.
Was it the fact that he was outside the locker room? I wonder.
Yeah, that I didn't see. I didn't see any type of traditional victory celebration.
But you're saying where he stood, nobody could see him.
Standing
Fans couldn't walk by.
Standing in a corridor, in the backstage area there with his dad, backs up against the wall. They're just hanging out. People are coming by, high five, great game, Luka. Hey, Mr. Doncic, great to see you. That kind of thing. Sitting there, got a can of beer in one hand and just enjoying it. Relaxing after a job well done. Like I'm sure you do, Greg. After a successful show, you go home and pop a cold one,
sure,
to celebrate to celebrate the job well done. And as a grown man, you're certainly entitled to do it, as long as you don't drink and drive and put my life at risk. I've got no problem with it.
Could have been a beer that's not the sponsor of the arena or whatever. So somebody brought in an imported beer. I know Dad got it in there somehow.
And
there's no way. I'm kidding when I say that.
Well, you do see that with the sports drinks kind of thing.
Well, they'll cover the labels.
The internal run in there and turn the label. I mean,
right.
that's goofy too. But no, this was like more or less like a private moment, and I just don't understand Michael Finley's reasoning behind that.
Maybe we'll hear more about that today.
Well, I don't think it's going to turn into anything, but it was just a very odd visual. One grown man taking a can of beer away from the other, and almost with like a stern look and like like an unsaid admonishment, like, hey, you're not supposed to, don't do that. I didn't get it, but
you're sure it wasn't an empty one? He was going to get him a full one. Did Lucas say, hey,
let me top that off,
grab me another, and he took the empty and got him a new one?
I can't swear to that, but certainly Luka Doncic's expression would indicate that he was not through enjoying it. So I don't know. It's a little weird, and I like Michael Finley, the player, and I'm sure he's a wonderful man too. But the visual was certainly a little odd, and Luka Doncic certainly seemed confused by it. So
try doing that if Michael Finley was a vice president of operations or whatever with the Nuggets, and Jokic was out there with a beer. Try pulling that beer away from Jokic. You'd probably get a right hand of the face.
Well, Jokic has the his brothers. those.
The henchmen,
the Serbian fellows. So yeah,
don't mess with those guys. So I saw yesterday, after I had posted on X that I think it's going to be a great NBA final, and you, real quick, responded. Dallas in 5.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think Dallas is the superior team for all the reasons you guys have been talking about today. I don't think. I think Boston, when you look at their roster, it's a little bit top heavy right now with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and I don't know how much you're going to be able to expect out of Porzingis in this series. I mean, even if he does come back to play, I don't think he's going to be. The Kristaps Porzingis we've seen all year, and I think Dallas's depth is going to get him. I mean, their two best players are playing at their very highest levels right now, and then their role players, the Derek Liveleys, the Gaffers, the PJ Washingtons of the world. I mean, those guys are playing incredible within their very limited roles, and I just think this team's really clicking along really well. I think the coaching advantage goes to Dallas as well. I think Jason Kidd overall is the better coach than Missoula. So yeah, I like Dallas. I don't think the games might be close. It might be kind of like this Minnesota series where the games were close, but the outcome of the series I don't think is going to be particularly close. And I realize in saying this that my track record on predictions here on the air is kind of 50-50.
So if you want to lock in Boston now, you probably should do so.
So don't take it to the bank. Don't bet your house, Raider Corey. But if I had to pick, that's what I'm going to pick. I think Dallas wins in 5, maybe 6 games, and it's going to be exciting to see them win a championship because I think it's been a good run, and I think it's been kind of cool seeing this whole experiment come together. I mean, last year, so many people were quick to to trash it right out of the gate, and 10, 11 games it did. It was working so badly, and the national narrative was like, oh gosh, these guys are never going to work together. But it's just if they win, it'll be a great lesson in giving things time and letting it breathe. You gotta. We
are quick as a society.
We
to
are.
Do that,
Sometimes we just gotta let things play out and see what's going to happen. And ultimately, it's been successful.
The one thing that Boston has, I think, in its favor, now again, nobody's going to shut those two down, but they do have in Derek White and Drew Holiday, you have two of the best defensive backcourt guys in the league, which that's the matchup. Like, what can those two guys do against Luka and Kyrie? I mean, nobody's going to stop them, but what can you do to try and control those two? And then, obviously, with Boston and with both teams, it's going to come down to making shots because they both are going to shoot a ton of threes. Boston shoots more threes than anybody in the league. There's no doubt Boston. I would assume Boston probably loses one of the first 2 at home because they do every series they play in the postseason. Lose one of the first 2 at home. It seems like. But I don't. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by what Derek White and Drew Holiday could do against those two guys.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I think that is the story within the story. Those are 2 6'4" guards, but play incredibly well defensively, especially Holiday. He's been known as a defensive stopper, but you're going up against Kyrie Irving, one of, if not the greatest finishers at the rim that the game has ever seen. And Luka Doncic, who's 6'7", is shooting over Rudy Gobert, for goodness sakes. I'm sure he can get a shot over Drew Holiday or Derek White.
Yeah, I think it's just a matchup problem, and not even for the Celtics. I mean, I think it's a matchup problem for just about any team in the league for the reasons you said, Greg. I mean, Kyrie Irving is playing at such a high level now, and I'm not going to get into all the past issues that he's had, but like you guys have been saying all week and all series and all playoffs, he's got his head where it needs to be, and he's playing great basketball. Arguably the best basketball of his career, and that's even going back to to Cleveland when he helped them win a championship, and he was Robin to LeBron James Batman. I mean, even probably better than that run is this playoff run. So yeah, he's incredible, and Luka Doncic is what he is, man. He's probably the second best player in the league right now. He's just an unstoppable offensive force and playing with ultimate confidence that he's the man, and you're gonna have to figure out a way. You're going to have to stop him if you're going to win. And right now, that's really, really hard to do.
So I just watched the video. Yeah, I don't think that was empty. Luka's reaction would tell you would made it look like it wasn't.
Yeah,
empty.
he looked really sad, right?
He like what was that about?
Right, exactly.
My only guess is that it's because he was outside the locker room. They didn't want him having it outside the locker room.
Yeah, but enforced by Michael Finley?
I'm guessing inside the locker room, he would probably have been fine. I don't know. Like that would be the only possible explanation I would come up with is they didn't want him having it out there.
Even outside the locker room, though, is an off limits area to the general public.
I don't know. I don't know where that because for instance at FedEx Forum, like the Grizzlies could be in the tunnel to their locker room and the fans can see them.
Okay,
because they have that area where they walk out and there's fans all over the place right there. Where they come out onto the court, which is backstage per se.
So a fan sees Luka drinking a beer. He's not shooting up heroin.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm just that would be my only guess. I have no idea. Maybe I don't. I have no clue why.
I'm Luka. I would have turned around and go, I'm going to Mark Cuban right now. I'm leaving after this season. I'm done. I demand a trade. Thanks, Finley. You did that.
Well, that seems a little
I know,
harsh.
I know.
No, it was like I said. It was more of an odd visual than anything.
Right. I'm with you.
One grown man.
Because it looks like Luka
Right.
at first thinks he's like joking and is going to give it back, and then he's like, when he walks away, Luka's like,
yeah.
Like, wait a second. Like,
I'm not getting it back.
Maybe Michael Finley just wanted the beer for himself. He's like, dude, I found a beer. I need one of these. And like, he steals Luka's to drink it for himself.
Finley's probably one of the many people that still don't think Luka's good.
He above anybody should know by now, but he looks stern though, right? Michael Finley looks stern, right?
Yes. He says something to him. Like he grabs it and kind of looks like he leans in, says something to him, and maybe he's like, hey, thank you for the beer.
Yeah, he looks like a stern parent.
We don't need you getting drunk. The NBA final begins in a week.
Well,
I don't know.
Again, to emphasize, I am anti-alcohol in general, but I mean, if anyone deserves a cold beer after that kind of performance, it's Luka Doncic, and he's of legal age.
As you said, right? He's 25, legal age.
I've got no problem with it.
All right.
And I am adamantly pro-alcohol.
Yes, you are. You are. You are.
So, Eli recommends them drinking beers on the bench while they're playing the game.
So that's why I think maybe Michael Finley wanted a beer, and he's like, hey, Luka's got one. Screw you, Luka. I'm the boss. Give me the beer.
See, this is a perfect example of how we as Americans, despite our differences, can still come together in agreement on these important issues. Regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on, Republican, Democrat, pro-beer, anti-beer, we can still come together and find a meeting of the minds. And I applaud Eli for his open-mindedness and for indulging me on this topic.
Do you think Michael Finley would have grabbed the beer out of LeBron James' hand? LeBron would have been wine, but you think he would have grabbed it right out of LeBron James' hand?
That's a good question.
LeBron James would have killed him.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. It's a weird thing. All right, when we come back, I want to talk to you about the David Jones news and your opinion on that. Everybody has an opinion. And about the Memphis Tigers moving forward with Penny Hardaway and what they're going to do as far as trying to replace a 22-point per game scorer.
By the way, Raider Corey texted is sending his condolences to you for never having had a beer.
I'll live, Raider Corey. Thank you very much. I mean, I appreciate you, but I've made it 56 years without one, and it's probably not the right time to start now.
But man lives without a TV. Like, he has no TVs.
Thanks for looking out for me.
Doesn't have a TV in his house.
He's an unfrozen caveman lawyer, for goodness sakes.
It's okay, John. I'm right there with you. I never had a beer either, so I'm right there with you.
Well, see, I mean,
at least you eat meat. Zach doesn't even eat meat.
No,
you know how rare this is?
You
we
love
got
steak,
4
at least.
dudes right now within our 2 studios, and 2 of the dudes have never had alcohol. That's rare, I'm telling you.
If you didn't eat...
Nothing wrong with it, though.
The fact that you love steak is only... Like, that's the only thing that makes you not the complete opposite of me.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I've never had alcohol because I did have it once by mistake.
I know you told that story already. Yes,
but
you've been messed up since, man. You have been messed up since.
Mistake, under false pretenses. but having
I was fooled.
I was bamboozled. But deliberately cracking open a beer and having it. No, I've never had that, and I don't see it happening.
But it's less filling and tastes great.
Yeah.
All right.
That would just be. I don't understand it at all. Heck, I do it. See, when cooking out of the Big Green Egg.
Yeah, you do.
You got to have. You can't cook on the grill without drinking at the same time.
Hell, Eli had
It is
3 beers
impossible.
before the show.
I can tell if they would let me. When you're cooking on the grill, you have to have a beer. It's just like it's a rule. I think it's a rule. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's a rule out there. But the Big Green Egg, when you're cooking on that, whether you have beer or not, it's absolutely fantastic. What about a beer brat?
A beer brat? Yeah, I think I would have a beer.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're okay.
I think probably any kind of brat.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that count as having alcohol in your system?
I don't.
It's soaked in beer.
I don't think it would show up.
Once it's cooked, it kind of.
Yeah, I don't think it
comes off.
If you took a test at that point out, I don't think the alcohol would show up in your system after eating it. Unless you ate a whole bunch of them.
Unless you were Joey Chestnut.
If you ate 50 beer brats, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you get a trace amount in your system.
But officer, I never drank a beer.
I just think because I cooked beer brats last weekend, as a matter of fact. I also cooked some salmon last week. Are you a salmon guy?
Oh, yeah. Salmon's my
cedar
staple.
plank salmon off the Big
Salmon's
Green Egg.
great.
Absolutely amazing. Everything's amazing off the Big Green Egg. Go to biggreenegg.com, get all the details, or go to the Ace Hardware locations or Hamilton Fireplace for the Big Green Egg.
All right, more with the Prince of Darkness when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Get ready because the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event is on, and now is the best time to buy. You want 43 MPG Highway? We Gossett in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $18,960 or $279 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $27,350 or $399 per month. And your summer adventure starts with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE, we Gossett, $29,865 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi. 1870 Covington Pike. Online 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
HFO 9083, MSRP 19460, Sport RU0110 764, MSRP 28070, Outlander RZO 53896, MSRP 30895, PF 695, acquisition fee 595, 15 cents excess mileage, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved dealer stock only.
You know, one thing we never talk about is how family-friendly Central Barbecue is.
Always has been.
At any Central Barbecue location.
And there are a lot of them.
You know your kids will have a good time and a great meal.
The kids' menu is perfect.
Everything from a grilled cheese to a junior barbecue sandwich to a hot dog, junior chicken sandwich, or classic mac and cheese, and they all come with a side and a small drink, all at a great price.
You just left me with literally nothing to say about kids at Central Barbecue.
I was just trying to be thorough.
You covered everything. What am I supposed to talk about?
The parking?
You just stole the whole commercial.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
I've got Rock and Ronnie Smith on the line and Gossett. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the pipe. And Ronnie, it's the season for the Memorial Day sales again.
It's time to rock, Randy, in your new 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4-wheel drive. $25,889 or $389 a month. That's $5,206 off MSRP. How about a 2024 Dodge Hornet GT all-wheel drive? Packing up Dodge Charger SXT 4-door, $28,072. That's over $9,000 off MSRP.
So try it past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat along the pipe or online anytime. GossettMotorCars.net.
Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Available only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here in hour number 1. A little bit more with John Varlas from the Daily Memphian, brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis. All right, so I thought all along David Jones was going to stay in the draft, and unfortunately for Tigers fans, he did. So there's 22 points per game, basically 21.7 out the window, and I think Penny was certainly relying on him coming back because he kept saying, I felt, his words, 70% chance that he was coming back. So now you got to figure that Penny is looking to add, because I can't imagine that he thinks he has enough if he was thinking that those guys were going to be added to a David Jones team. Now David Jones has decided to go on and become a professional. What do you think about the decision, although our opinions don't matter, that David Jones has decided to stay in the draft, although supposedly had not a great combine?
Well, I mean, if 56 years on this earth have taught me one thing, it's that people are going to do what they want to do, and it's apparent to me as an outsider, but with a little bit of inside scoop and inside knowledge, that David Jones just didn't want to be at Memphis anymore. He wanted to start his professional career in whatever form that looks like, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the G League, whether it's overseas. He just wanted to move on, apparently, and I don't think anything was going to dissuade him from that. And I think that's pretty much the bottom line. I did
wish him well and move on.
Wish him well and move on. Yeah. And Greg, you mentioned the 22 points per game. What I'm more concerned about for the Tigers' big picture going forward is the almost 8 rebounds per game that David Jones has, because right now, as the roster is totally constructed, you're going to be relying on Dane Danger and Musa Cisse for the bulk of your rebounding. The team is really, really lacking in size. So, I've heard the talk around town, that they need a wing. And they do. I mean, that's certainly a glaring hole on the roster right now as well.
But they need another big.
But there's very little size, very little rebounding that I can see, and so that's a significant thing too that goes with David Jones as well. I agree. Is almost 8 rebounds a game. But no, all you can do is wish him well. If he didn't want to play for Memphis, I don't think there's anything they could have done to entice him to stay. And I say that financially with the NIL and all that stuff. So,
and it wasn't like he was trying to leave to go to another school.
No, he's leaving on good terms. I mean, he's been to DePaul, he's been to St. John's, he's been to Memphis. I mean, he's had the college experience. He did well here. Wish him well. I think that's all we can do.
Let me squeeze in another topic. We don't have a lot of time, John, but this was a weird story that came down yesterday. It's very confusing. The NCAA and a coalition of states suing the organization announced a proposed settlement of a lawsuit Thursday that would allow athletes to be immediately eligible to play no matter how many times they transfer, and offer some who were sidelined an extra year of eligibility. Under the agreement, the NCAA would be required to grant an additional year of eligibility to Division I athletes previously deemed ineligible under the transfer eligibility rule since the 1920 academic year. What?
Yeah, as someone on Twitter pointed out to me, I mean, and he was serious. The idea itself is, kind of preposterous, but this guy was serious. I mean, he thought it had merit, and based on what you just read by the wording, I mean, could Memphis now reach back out to DeAndre Williams now?
I didn't think about that.
I mean, but could they? I mean, has
he played in a professional? Did he play in a professional game overseas?
Well, I mean, Daniel Vieira Tuck played in professional games overseas.
The Tuck rule.
The Tuck rule.
John, I don't know. I'm befuddled with all this.
No, yeah, I just say that to say, I mean, it just opens the door to all kinds of interesting possibilities. I'm looking at it from the perspective of this is just another thing that's going to hurt the high school kids and keep this this silly transfer portal thing, like the perpetual wheel. It's just going to keep going and going and going and spinning and spinning and spinning because of things like this. Now you've just lumped another obstacle that these high school kids have to overcome. It's bad enough now that they're competing with the transfers for these scholarship spots. Now you throw in an extra year of eligibility for a lot of these people, and I don't know what the numbers look like on this rule. How many kids we're talking? Are we talking about 10? Are we talking about 1,000?
And it's not yet official, but I mean, we were talking the other day about when is the COVID thing finally over with the extra year of eligibility? This could be crazy if somebody didn't use up their eligibility, gets the year back, has been out for a while, and can come back and play for a team?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I guess if you are deemed now to have another year of eligibility, if you haven't gone pro,
Harold Grader texts, by the way, he says it's for those that had to sit out a year when transferring.
Yeah.
Because now it's obviously you can transfer as many times as you want, and you can play immediately.
Okay, well, that would seem I don't remember. Would that rule out DeAndre Williams?
No, yeah, because DeAndre did not. His year that he sat out was not a transfer year. That's right. He was ruled ineligible when he first got to Evansville.
Yeah,
academically.
Okay. Right.
So his was not a transfer sit out.
So this would be any player that transferred and had to sit out the year, which was always the rule.
Yeah.
In college athletics, right? You'd had to sit out a year once you transferred, unless maybe if the coach was let go and then whatever. They'd always change and tweak things. But that makes a lot of sense what Harold's saying. But still, even that is really? How about if somebody in the 2019-20 season sat out a year? It's now the 2024-25 season coming up.
We're talking about 5-6 years down the road
and all of a sudden that player is eligible again if the player is not turned into a professional and whatever. And of course, this is any sport. A lot of them haven't. So they would be able to say, hey, come on back to school. Just work on a master's or something and come back and play.
I don't know. I mean, it used to, back in the day, if you were in school for 7 years, they call you doctor. Now they call you, the starting left tackle, right?
Now they call you underclassmen.
Now they call you the point guard.
I can't imagine there are many that would, again, if you're out of school, that you're going to go, oh, I got another year, I'm going to go back.
True.
I don't know how many current.
But it's name, image, likeness world now.
I mean,
it wasn't in 1920, was it?
Anything is possible,
it's been a few years.
And it's such a huge mess. But
I don't know. I wonder how many kids are still in college or who are playing right now that had a year where they sat out because of transfer.
Right.
I have no idea what that number would possibly be that would now get that year back.
Never a dull moment. John, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Italian Fest, Greg.
Yes.
Are you going to play bocce?
One of these years I will, but I'm not going to play.
They have a lot of out there.
What's that?
Alcohol.
They do, and
that's the whole reason for Italian Fest.
Well,
the dry Italian Fest wouldn't work.
Well, that's fine, but as long as everybody's of legal age and they're not drinking and driving. I mean,
well, that's
there might be some blurred lines there.
Yes, John, thank you.
Thank you.
He is John Varlas.
Someone's got an extra year of eligibility for that.
Make sure to follow John on Twitter at John Varlas. Catch him every Friday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. He's brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis. Hour 2 on the way. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the bike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 mpg? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $357 a month. No $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease, plus 0% APR for 48 months available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Incentives price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, ED6 $5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE $78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call, hit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
This traffic report brought to you by Appliance Liquidators with low prices and top-notch customer service. Appliance Liquidators, 3320 Goodman Road East in South Haven.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's only getting heavier over here with this volume on 40 coming westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road. It's still pretty positive right now on 55 northbound up to South Haven. Still dealing with some rain in certain parts of our listening area, so be careful. Give yourself a little extra time. And I'm seeing it build even more on 51 coming southbound, 51 out of Millington. Weimer's Jewelry here in the Memphis area specializes in bridal ring purchases, and they have since 1984. Check out their website or give them a call. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:05 the time. Hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Got a little light rain, but it's going to turn into a steady rain this afternoon and possibly thunderstorms later tonight, especially in the overnight hours. 75 for a high today. And then tomorrow, more rain, thunderstorms in the forecast. Rainfall possibly over 1 inch. There is a marginal risk of severe weather today. Come on, Mother Nature. What are you doing to me? I can't wait each and every year for the Italian Fest. And I didn't go last night when the weather was beautiful yesterday. You're screwing things up for me. Anyway, welcome back. Welcome in if you're just tuning in for hour number 2. It's brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are located at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. And every Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know the last time the Memphis football team played a Thanksgiving Day game was back on November 24th of 1983. That was at Louisville. The Tigers won 45-7. Well, the Tigers will be playing this Thanksgiving. They'll be playing November 28th. That's Thanksgiving Day in New Orleans against the Tulane Green Wave. We're going to talk more about the Tiger football schedule in just a moment. Our buddy Harold Grader, of course, big weekend with the event on Monday, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Classic. Will be out at TPC Southwind, broadcasting live our show, 7 to 10 o'clock. Also, on Sunday night, they will honor the great Joe Theismann, friend of our show, with the Distinguished Citizen Award. So congratulations to Joe and Harold and everybody associated with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. So Harold texted during the break for a little clarification about this NCAA deal. They've reached a settlement with the Justice Department, as I mentioned, that will effectively allow for unlimited student-athlete transferring without penalty, which, again, is in of itself is still a little bit strange. The Athletic Stuart Mandel adds, interesting part of the settlement, athletes who had to sit out a year under the old transfer rules and are still in college will get that year of eligibility restored and could come back next year. So the question is, are there any significant athletes in what any of the sports, football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter, that fit into that category? Like, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head as far as Memphis is concerned.
Yeah, again, I have no idea how many kids that are still in college have sat out a transfer year. I have no clue how many total there would be, and so I do not know.
Has to be some.
How many that would affect?
Yeah, it has to be some, or they wouldn't even bring that into the this settlement. Again, James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. Visit them this weekend if you're looking for a special piece of jewelry, whether it be an engagement ring, whether it be a beautiful watch or necklace, pendant, a bracelet, whatever the case may be, or you need jewelry worked on, you need a resetting, you need a simple cleaning. James Gaddis Jewelers will take care of you. Again, they're the second-hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. They've been with us a long time, and we appreciate our relationship with James and the great folks at James Gaddis Jewelers. All right, so 7 kickoff times were announced for the upcoming Tiger football season. And some interesting times. The August 31st opener against North Alabama will be a 6 o'clock kickoff. That'll be on ESPN+. The next week will be the Troy game on September 7th. That will be an 11 a.m. kickoff, and that's on ESPNU. The game at Florida State on the 14th of September, 11 a.m. I think it's very tough for road teams with those morning starts. And Memphis will already have a challenge, and that'll be, I think, a little bit more of a challenge. Get up early, get ready to go, get to the state, do all that stuff. I know the home team also has to do all that stuff and get up early. But again, sleeping in your own bed and being at home, it's a little bit different story. So that game will be 11 o'clock, and that will be broadcast on ESPN. On the 21st, the game at Navy will be a 2:30 kickoff. CBS Sports Network will pick that one up. On October 11th, the game at USF, 6 p.m. down in Tampa on ESPN. On November 8th, the Rice game, which will be here in Memphis, 8 p.m. kickoff. I don't know if I've ever experienced an 8 p.m. kickoff on ESPN2. Again, that's November 8th against Rice. And then, as I alluded to with the Sports Fact, Thanksgiving Day game will be Thanksgiving evening on November 28th, 6:30 on ESPN. The Tigers, Tulane, could be a huge game. I think it will be. Could end up being the first of back-to-back games with Tulane. Who knows? But it basically replaces the Egg Bowl, which has been moved, as we talked about yesterday, to Friday.
Yeah, they get the Egg Bowl slot. The Egg Bowl takes what had been in some years an American Athletic Conference slot on the 2:30 on Black Friday. ESPN now having the SEC games, the main SEC stuff, have basically flip-flopped those games. You on Friday are still going up against an NFL game by doing it the Egg Bowl in the afternoon, but that's an Amazon Prime NFL game. Thanksgiving night, you're going up against the NFL on NBC on network television. So a little bit better chance on Friday afternoon to kind of maybe draw some viewers away from the NFL because it's the Amazon game. But both of those games will be going head-to-head with the NFL now that the NFL has moved itself into Black Friday with that one afternoon game on Amazon.
And don't get me wrong, the game being on Thanksgiving night, the exposure for Memphis football, and hopefully they have the season that people think they can have, that's going to be great to be in the spot. And I know it's Thanksgiving, but a lot of people, they eat early, then they kick back and they watch football, and I know the NFL's happening, but you have the ability to watch that game as well. And who knows what will happen as far as significant games for Memphis later in the year. Is there a possibility that you could get a game day back in Memphis? Or would Memphis be somewhere where a game day could go to that city, depending on the race in the American Conference, and certainly where that compares to races in the other group of 5 conferences, especially the Mountain West, but even the Sun Belt when you look at that, and how significant those games will be. And I would imagine they will be significant because, again, somebody is getting into the playoff. And that's the most important thing. It's not maybe somebody will get into the playoff from the group of 5. Somebody is getting into the playoff, which makes, not just because it's well, obviously it coincides with it going from 4 to 12. But yes, that's going to be fantastic in its own right that we got a 12-team playoff. I love 12. I don't need them to go to 14, 16. 12 is fantastic in my opinion. But again, the fact of the matter is there is a seat at that big boy table. If you're Memphis, can you seize that opportunity? If not, somebody else is. Somebody's going to be involved. And I think that's the underlying incredible story in a day and age where the chasm continues to be greater between these Power 4 conferences now and everybody else, that yet this 12-team playoff means at least a spot for the group of 5. I can't wait.
Well, I mean, certainly you could see a situation where the Thanksgiving night game could be to decide who will host the conference championship game.
Could be.
And then, obviously, if you're hosting the conference championship game, there's a good chance you're playing to get in to the playoff in that conference championship game. So, yeah, I mean, there could be a lot of excitement in those final, couple of weeks of the regular season leading into that conference championship game around Memphis football. So, yeah, it could be a whole different thing when it gets down to that point this year, knowing that there is that treat out there dangling of a shot in the playoffs. Again, my dream scenario, my hope is that it could be
Memphis and Ole Miss?
Memphis, Ole Miss, first round of the playoffs. I think that would be unbelievable to see Memphis in Oxford against Ole Miss, first round of the college football playoff would be just absolutely amazing.
For the history of sports in our community, in our area, how big would that be? Where would that rank?
A
college football playoff game featuring Memphis and Ole Miss.
I mean, when you're talking about, for both of them, it would be the first time ever in the playoff.
Right.
They now haven't played in football for a few years. It would be. The atmosphere could be absolutely epic. It would be. It could be just an absolute ton of fun if that was the matchup you would get with,
right.
end up with.
And it would be in our region. It wouldn't be in Memphis. It would be in Oxford more than likely, right? But it would be an hour down the road, hour and a half, hour 15, whatever, depending on how fast you drive, how many laws you break. It's in our area, in our region. And so you got to look at, historically, we've had a lot of great moments in sports. That would certainly be one of them. That would be for sure.
Somebody texted and says, who's to say Memphis couldn't be the home team? Well, to be the home team in the first round, in that situation, that would mean somehow Memphis is seeded anywhere between 5 and 8. I don't think there's any chance the group of 5 team would ever be a seeded 5 through 8.
Right.
They could be top 4 if they end up somehow being one of the top 4 conference champions instead of the 5th ranked of the conference champions. But to be 5th through 8th, I don't think will ever happen for the group of 5 team. I think those are the spots that they will never end up in, as a matter of fact.
Here's the scenario. Here's the since we're talking about this kind of stuff, and some of it is certainly not ludicrous, right? I mean, Memphis actually winning the conference championship, getting to the playoff, it's a possibility. Memphis beats Florida State in the regular season, goes undefeated, and Florida State wins the ACC.
Then Memphis is a top 4.
Memphis is a top 4.
But that's it. They can't host Ole Miss.
Right.
That's what I'm saying they're not going to be 5 through 8. I don't think the group of 5 team will ever be anywhere 5 through 8.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. But I guess the point I was making was, could they host? Yeah, not Ole Miss, but they could host. And that would be that scenario is set up for this year.
Because those games,
you don't play Florida State.
The top 4, once
year.
they play, they're not at a home field.
Say that one more time.
The first round games are at sites. Once the top 4 start playing, they're not at home fields.
Oh, that's right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Memphis.
It's only the first
round. The group of 5 team ever hosting one of these games is you have to be 5 through 8, and it's that I don't think will ever happen.
That's right. Once we've had the first round, which is on campus sites, the top 4 they're getting buys. They're not involved. So if you were a top 4, you'd be playing the second weekend, and that means you would be playing at whatever the designated bowl is. Okay, absolutely, you're right. But hey, it's cool to dream about this stuff, right? Because it is not. It's still going to be extremely hard. Nothing's going to be handed to Memphis. It's going to be extremely hard. And if you think that, this is a shoo-in to win the conference championship, you're wrong. But is it doable? Is it a possibility? It is. And that's why there's so much excitement around here. And for Ole Miss fans, there's obviously excitement because they are all in for this year's team. How many from the SEC will eventually go? I mean, I think you could end up getting 5 teams from the SEC. That's not out of the question. All right, from football to basketball, mentioned earlier the Rothstein story that the Memphis Tigers will opening night of college basketball is Monday, November 4th. Memphis will play that night, hosting the Missouri Tigers at FedEx Forum. Also, it was reported that the Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden will feature John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks versus Michigan. They have their new coach. Of course, it's Dusty May, coming from Florida Atlantic. And then the Tennessee Volunteers and the University of Miami in the other game at MSG. Last night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Florida Panthers beat the New York Rangers 3-2. And now Florida has a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference Final. In the West, Dallas Stars, Eli's Edmonton Oilers are knotted up at 2 with Game 5 tonight. And today starts the college baseball NCAA tournament with regionals all around the country. Hopefully, the weather around the country will be better than it is here in Memphis.
Yeah, there will be 32 games played today, theoretically. If the weather cooperates, there will be 32 college baseball games played today around the country.
Get ready for a lot of baseball. Get ready for the Summer Sizzler specials at Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. They've been making them for over 122 years, which is just hard to imagine that has been around that long, but putting smiles on people's faces for over a century, well over a century. The Summer Sizzling Special, the pecan roll. I love a pecan roll, a good pecan roll. Soft, fluffy Divinity Center dipped in chewy caramel, then rolled in the crisp pecans. A traditional Southern treat. Great for summer. Buy one, get one free at any of the 5 Dinstall's locations. Also, they got the chocolate-covered strawberries, the chocolate-covered grapes, even the chocolate-covered pineapples and raspberries are in as well. So get your fruits covered in that delicious chocolate from, you know where, from the great folks at Dinstall's, plus the cashew crunch, all the types of fudge, including the new vanilla pecan fudge and the maple walnut fudge. Man, I'm getting hungry just reading off the list of the great delectables at Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. 5 locations, Laurelwood here in, not here, but near where I live in East Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, downtown Memphis, and also Pleasant View, where they make the candies. It's Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates, been putting smiles on people's faces for over 122 years. When we come back, the interim athletics director of the University of Memphis, Jeff Crane, joins us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Best thing you have done today. This is Sheldon Rosengart, and I'm with you, Mallory, and we are both with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. You, what's the next thing we can advise people to do if they are selling their home?
The next best thing? Remember, Sheldon, the real estate market is changing, and you need honest, forthright help navigating the new environment. Doing it on your own is like driving a car in a blinding snowstorm.
Correct, you. The upcoming changes will mean a lot for both buyers and sellers, and that's why we always advise people to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that we are one of them.
Sheldon, 2 to 3 real estate brokers? Really? Like 2 to 3 tee shots you always take?
Yes, you. It's important to have a choice, whether in real estate or in golf. Now, back into the fairway, and to find out how you will move you, call him at 497-9756, or find out what they often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 483-0546.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo, and if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the bike, so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month. $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
incentives. Price excludes 695 PF. Lease includes PF 695. 650 acquisition fee. ED6 P5610964. MSRP 50200. Telluride RG 510 849. MSRP 38305. Forte LXS RE 78169. MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax island license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Just a couple of accidents out here. It's been pretty quiet so far over here on 40 going westbound as you come off that ramp from Austin P Highway there at Jackson, making your way towards 101 connector. Still looking good in the Midtown area, at least for now on 240 northbound here at Lamar. It has increased with a little bit more volume on 385 Billmore Parkway coming out of Collierville, headed down 385 towards 240. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Make it Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Morning.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:29 is the time. Halfway home on this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings, the final show for the month of May here in 2024. Boy, where has the time gone? June 1st tomorrow. We hope you have a great weekend. And right now, it is time to talk some University of Memphis athletics.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers athletics. Joining Greg and Eli is University of Memphis Deputy Athletics Director Jeff Crane. Here's Jeff with Greg and Eli.
Jeff Crane is not only the Deputy AD at the University of Memphis, he has been for a while now the Interim Athletics Director, and we're very pleased to have him on. I know how busy he is. He's joining us today, and then he'll be on in his regular slot, I believe, on Tuesday. And then we'll give Jeff some time off because it's busy and he needs that time off, and then re-crank this thing up in August. Jeff Crane joins us now here on Sports 56 Mornings. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75. Hey, Jeff.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad that it's Friday, and good to be talking to you guys.
I know. Like I said, you've been running around. Well, the video came out finally. You talking about the start of the work over at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium for the renovations of that stadium, and I'm sure it's been something you've been waiting to do for a while now, to get that word out to the fans that it's finally underway. But that was the word just a few days ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to get construction started. I know we've been talking about it for so long. I'm sure you all and others started thinking, well, maybe this is actually never going to happen, but it did. We have started construction there on the east side, and really appreciative of all the efforts that have gone into getting this going. You know, if you really step back and look at some of the opportunities that have come from the stadium just in the last 6 months, a lot has happened in a relatively short period of time in the world of construction. So we are underway and continue our phase 2 fundraising efforts, but those are going well, and I hope to have some news to report on that in the next couple of weeks.
And I thought your performance in the video was Oscar worthy. I mean, I thought you nailed it. I really thought
was that one take?
I thought that was a fine performance.
You know, I really appreciate that. I don't believe what you're saying, and I will tell you it was multiple takes. Our video folks exercised great patience with me during that time, but excited for our entire fan base and the university and the city. You know, this is just a long time coming, and I and others are fortunate to be here at this very transformational time.
By the way, who would play Jeff in the movie?
Himself. Did you see the acting performance he just turned in? Like, it was unbelievable. The screenplay was amazing. How the directing was. I think it could sweep the Oscars.
Right.
Okay. So for those, now that it's officially started, if you could, can you kind of recap the timeline and how this will go as it pertains to affecting the seasons coming up?
Yeah, so for the 2024 season, the work that's taking place on the east side will have little to no impact on the fan experience. It will have impact on the press area, game operations, etc., and all of that work will be completed by the time we start at the end of August for this upcoming season. So we will be ready to go there on the east side for that first home game. Then continuing upon our ability to close out the fundraising for phase 2, we will start demolition and some of that foundational work. We hope if it all goes according to plan, maybe even before the season starts. So obviously in anticipation of that and in planning for that, we have seated everybody from the west side to the east side and other parts of the stadium, with the exception of the chair back seats, which is row 25 and below. Those will stay intact and usable during construction. So we do anticipate significant impacts on the west side, obviously, for the 24 and 25 season, and all stays on course. We'll be back up and running in the 2026 season.
So what is the guesstimate on capacity for the next 2 seasons?
Yeah, so the next 2 seasons we will be in the right around 40,000 is where we'll land. There's some flexibility there. We hope after the 24 season, depending on how much work has been done prior to the 25 season, maybe we can increase that. Ultimately, where this is headed is once we get phase 3 done, which is adding the seating deck back in, we'll be at 50,000. So that remains our goal. But for the next couple of years, we'll be right around that 40,000 number.
And then parking on the west side, like the silver lot where media parked and other people parked over on that side, will that all be affected as well?
We'll see some impact in parking over the next couple of years. It's not significant. There will be some lay down areas for supplies and so on and so forth. We're going to try to keep a lot of that in the immediate halo area to not impact as much parking. But there will be 200 to 300 spaces in either the silver or tan lot, kind of spread between those two, that will be impacted. But generally speaking, the fans are not going to feel the parking impact.
So you mentioned that you're still going to have the chair back seats available on the west side, whatever, west side,
the west side, yeah.
So will the team also stay on that sideline?
Yes, yeah, the team will stay there on the west sideline, and as you all know, there's significant space on that side versus the east, and better from an overall operational perspective for our team to remain on the west side. So that is our plan as we go into the 24 season and beyond.
Jeff, you talked about, and by the way, Jeff Crane joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Jeff's the interim athletics director at the University of Memphis. You mentioned that the hope is once this first phase is done, which will be done by the, knock on wood, start of the season, then you would get phase 2 going, hopefully, could be before the season starts. What type of numbers are we talking about? We know, obviously, with the Smith family donation, it's $50 million that you got to eventually match. How much is needed to do phase 2, and where are you with fundraising for that to get it started actually before they kick off this upcoming season?
Yeah, so we have been making an effort to raise this first $25 million toward the Smith family match. And that'll get phase 2 underway. So we are just a couple $3 million away from hitting that $25 million. So we do anticipate that we'll reach that number before the end of the summer, and are hopeful we can get that started, as I mentioned, possibly even before the season starts. So our fundraising efforts will continue over the summer, and are optimistic about our ability to reach that $25 million match so we can get phase 2 going.
Very kind of Eli to chip in the final $2-3 million to get to the $25 million
Hey,
mark.
I thought last week when the Showboats game was going on and the fire alarm started going off, I thought maybe you guys had started demolition. You were just burning the place down. I didn't know for sure. That's an easy way to get demolition going, to just burn the place down, and then you start from scratch. So I didn't know what was happening there. While this is all happening and you raise that money, y'all, since the last time we talked, we kind of had the official, I guess, vote and approval of the settlement of the lawsuits. When do you guys start looking at, and again, it's not officially done. There's still a lot to be done before it becomes official and approved and all of that stuff. But like, how do you guys already start thinking about, like, okay, when this revenue sharing starts, like, how much are we going to be able to afford to be able to share with the players?
Yeah, I mean, these are all questions and aspects of our business that we've been thinking about for quite some time, and we really don't have the specifics yet. Unfortunately, we have more questions than we have answers. But like every school in the country, we're going to have to be flexible and nimble as we go into this new world, and we think we're well positioned to do that. Memphis has always been a place that has found a way to make things happen, and so we're going to have to do the same in this new world. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. We are thinking about it and strategizing on how we may get there, but until we have more specifics, it's going to be really difficult to give us the clarity that we're going to need to develop a path that's going to work for us going forward. But we know there's certainly change ahead.
Is there thought that things will get started? And again, we don't have the answers, like you said, more questions than answers, but that things would actually get started for the 25-26 academic year?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing right now. But again, very early to tell. The devil will be in the details of all of this, and likely will take quite some time to sort out what those details are going to look like. So while we're thinking about this as a fall 25 impact, as that would be the earliest that would happen, it's still too early to tell.
All right, basketball, we got the news. Well, actually, John Rothstein had the news yesterday, so we can get hopefully clarification from you that the opening day is Monday, November 4th, and the Tigers will be hosting the Mizzou Tigers at FedEx Forum. Was that story correct?
Actually, to be honest with you, I've been traveling at American Athletic Conference meetings the last couple of days, so I've been a little bit unplugged in terms of where things are with our basketball contracts. So I wouldn't want to specifically say that is accurate. So I actually don't know the answer to that question, but I can tell you the next time we talk, I'll have a little more clarity for you on it. As these contracts go, it's very fluid. One day the contract's not executed, the next day it is. So I would need to get some clarification before I definitively told you that was accurate.
That is $20,000 for the Johnson family on the new game show Stump Crane, as it's finally happened for the first time.
You did it.
So you were at American Athletic Conference meetings. What's kind of your impression with the new commissioner and kind of now the official new direction, I guess, under him of the conference?
Yeah, and this was Commissioner Oresco's final meeting. Yes. So the new commissioner has not officially taken the reins, so to speak, yet. So the interaction there has not taken place. So I wouldn't want to speak specifically to him because I haven't had an opportunity to work with him yet. But I will say that due to Commissioner Oresco's aggressiveness over the years in positioning the conference, we think we're in a great spot, and I think Commissioner Pernetti comes in with a different skill set and some experiences that in today's college athletics world will be very beneficial to our conference. And so the great news is it appears that he's going to be just as aggressive as Commissioner Oresco was, and I think in the space that we're in, that's what you've got to be. You got to be aggressive out there, and that will continue, and we're excited about that.
Well, we had Tim on the show a couple of months ago, and he was fantastic, and that's basically what he talked about. Leave no stone unturned, look at every possible revenue stream and things of that nature. So certainly you're going to have a young, aggressive mind, but boy, I'll miss Mike. Mike was great. He'd come on the show whenever we asked, and I certainly liked his leadership and what he brought to the table as the American Conference Commissioner. And I hope he enjoys his retirement. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a great opportunity to celebrate him over the last couple of days and to thank him for his leadership, and certainly has meant a lot to our university and positioned us so well for what lies ahead.
One other thing, and again, we don't know if this will happen, so you probably don't have a definitive answer, but the story that came out yesterday about the possibility of schools being able to get corporate logos on the field, maybe even on the uniforms of athletes, which would be another revenue stream. Would you be, I would imagine, pro that? Because Memphis has some pretty good ties with companies. I wouldn't want to name a few here, but I think you know where I'm going. What about that revenue stream as an addition to everything else?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is that yes, there's going to be some new opportunities in the future for revenue sharing, but it's going to create a need and an opportunity to create new streams of revenue that perhaps as an industry we've always said, oh no, you can't do that.
Right.
I think the world has opened up now to some of these new concepts, and we're going to have to be very creative at the University of Memphis, as our entire industry is going to have to be, in order to find ways to fill the gaps from a revenue perspective. So we're really excited about that, and think that in our city we're very well positioned for what the future of college athletics will be. And I think you've seen our ability to kind of blaze some trails in that space has already become evident, and I think we're willing and ready to blaze whatever the next trail is as well.
Well, thank you for fitting us in. I know you've been traveling back and forth, and we really appreciate it. We're going to do it again on Tuesday, and then, regroup and get back in August, right? Because there's going to be a lot to talk about. Of course, this Tuesday, we expect you'll have all the answers to all these questions. He is Jeff Crane, University of Memphis Interim Athletics Director. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75. He joins us every week, and we appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, guys. Go Tigers, go.
Take care. I love that guy. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. It's a simple call away. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many plans, and different options to choose from to suit your budget. 6, 12, even 18 months, same as cash option. You can certainly pay out of pocket if you need to, or with your insurance company, because your insurance company can't tell you what company to use. That is going to be your call. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing, so business owners and property managers, obviously homeowners. If you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof. All their work, satisfaction guaranteed. Carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, install shingles, put up fencing, siding, rotten wood repair. Whatever you can't do yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Again, locally owned and operated company. Call Brandon. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, 901-438-5084, or online at newroofmemphis.com. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Memphis Public Links has so much going on right now. Audubon is right around the fairway. Wait until you see when this thing is a finished product. Fox Meadows is in great shape. The Links at Pine Hill is now a masterpiece of a place to play, as are really all the other Memphis public golf courses. Galloway is playing like a championship course. They just finished the 75th year of the OPO, and Overton Park is now talked about, and that layout all across the state. And by the way, folks, it's so easy to make a tee time. The hard part is getting your buddies to pick their time. You go online to memphispubliclinks.com, select your course, then grab your tee time. Simple, easy, and incredibly convenient. Also, on the website is a schedule of upcoming events. There you'll find something that will interest you. Again, if you want to book a tee time or find out more about tournaments or other events at any of the great Memphis public golf courses, go online to memphispubliclinks.com.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's
0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Heading south, I've got Marty McMahon getting back to the past on these prices at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
This is heavy, Doc. I mean, Randy, let's go with 42 MPG Highway and a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for $249 a month. Or take your pick from a 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE for only $279.28 a month.
Great Scott, McNate! You got it going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown on Winchester Road. Let me hit those deals again. 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month, or take your pick. 2024 Tiguan S or Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
Your future is whatever you make of it, Randy, so let us help you make your future down here at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I figured it was going to be the Chicago Bears, and that's official now. The Bears will be the featured team on this season's Hard Knocks. I think they'll be a fun team to watch with Caleb Williams. No?
Well, as I always say, the coach makes that program.
Eberflus?
Matt Eberflus does not strike me as a real entertaining character. I don't know.
I think they call him the Don Rickles of NFL coaches. What are you talking about?
Much of him or know much about him, honestly. But just from what I have seen, doesn't real strike me as a guy who I think is going to be real fun to watch on there. Hopefully he will surprise and be be the next Rex Ryan. But I'm going to guess he probably won't. But so you've got the Giants as the off season. They got the off season Hard Knocks that they will do, which will lead right into the, I guess, preseason Hard Knocks, which will be the Bears. And then the in-season Hard Knocks, I think they're doing an entire division, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you can't get enough Hard Knocks, in my opinion. But listen, I mean, maybe Eberflus will have a personality. It's more than just the coach. But Mike McDaniel last year, that dude was crazy. Was he entertaining? Yeah, he was entertaining. But that dude was weird. I don't know if you came out of Hard Knocks thinking anything but that guy is strange.
Everybody knew he was strange.
I didn't know he was strange. I didn't know anything about Mike McCarthy. Not Mike McCarthy, Mike McDaniel. I didn't know that guy was bonkers. He's like an evil genius, though. I mean,
I think Matt Eberflus will. Again, I'm just completely guessing. I'm going to guess Matt Eberflus will go down as one of the most boring coaches we've ever seen on Hard Knocks.
Calling your shot?
That's just a guess. I don't know Mr. Eberflus at all.
What did you think of last night, Luka, when he was talking to the guys on Inside the NBA about you can't go, basically, you can't leave. The show has to go on. Obviously, they only have one more year, right, with the deal with TNT, and with NBC. I don't. Do they bring those guys over? Do they bring some of those guys over? I wonder what happens, because I agree with Luka and a billion other people. You can't lose that show. It is, I mean, I guess it's arguably, because everybody has an opinion, the best, whatever category you put it under, pregame show, whatever. There is. You have your NFL shows, you have, every sport has you have Major League Baseball Network, you have the NFL Network. That's the best thing other than, like a sports center that's out there, that's not play-by-play, that's not an actual broadcast of a game. There is. The camaraderie with those guys, the goofiness, the insight when they're being serious. I don't understand the whole Draymond Green thing being added to this right now. They don't need Draymond Green. But as far as Shaq and Kenny and Charles and Ernie, it's the best. It has been the best. And I just wonder if there's a way to get them. And see, Ernie, I can't see Ernie going, right? TNT does a lot of things. Ernie is the guy with TNT and has been for years, but I don't know, depending on what they can offer.
Yeah, I don't know what his contract status is. I don't know whether he would want to leave there. I don't think Shaq's necessary to go anywhere. I think Shaq is by far the weakest link of the whole thing.
He is, but he still adds.
I think somebody will probably pay Charles a bunch of money, whether it be NBC or ESPN. Somebody will pay Charles a bunch of money, and the rest of them, I don't know.
Well, Charles is the best. He's the best. But how he plays off of Kenny and Shaq was the latest of the additions, and Ernie, I don't think that could be replicated. So Charles, while he's still Charles and will always be Charles, with another group of people, just will not be the same. It will not be as good. I can't imagine it would be as good. Final minute, hour two. I did want to say that Mark Giannotto, who is a friend and works for the Daily Memphian, excuse me, he works for the Commercial Appeal. And I think he has been terrific as a columnist since taking over for Jeff when Jeff moved over with the Daily Memphian. Jeff Calkins, of course. And Mark penned a story here just in the last couple hours that it's his last day working at the Commercial Appeal. I've liked Mark ever since he arrived here. I love talking sports with him, and I want to wish him nothing but the best in his future endeavors. He's got 3 children, and I think he'll do well wherever he goes. I'm not sure exactly what the plans are. But, yeah, we lose one of our fine writers. We have a lot of writers that are really, really good at what they do in this city and have been over the years. I mean, we've had riches when it comes to journalists, in my opinion, broadcasters. Memphis has been a good city for that. We've had a lot of people who have come and gone, and they've used it as a stepping stone, and that's fine. There's other people like myself, yourself, Jeff, Wolo, others that have come here and have stayed here. And that's, it's a personal decision, but I want to wish Mark nothing but the best. All right, we'll take a timeout, come back. Hour number 3, we will open up with Derek Murray. He covers basketball at every level, and he'll give us the breakdown on the draft, the prospects that the Grizzlies may be looking at, and also the Tigers so far, the team that Penny has put together for the 2024-25 season. That's all coming up next. Then we'll play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everyone has dreams, and if you've been dreaming of new appliances, Appliance Liquidators can make your dreams come true at any budget. Appliance Liquidators in South Haven is family-owned with low prices on appliances along with top-notch customer service. Choose from authorized brands including Crosley, GE, Maytag, LG, Whirlpool, and more. Appliance Liquidators specializes in clearance and scratch and dent. You get quality with minor imperfections at affordable prices. Stop dreaming and start living with new appliances from Appliance Liquidators, 3320 Goodman Road East in South Haven.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
I've got Jason, the main man marshal here, and he's ready to start something big at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. What's up, Jason?
Randy, I've got 42 MPG on the highway on the all-new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month. Or take your pick from the 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Taos SE. We got it at $279.28
2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month. Or take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
And Randy, you know the deal. Make me an offer because no reasonable offer will be refused.
Ask for Jason the Main Man Marshall at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
Hot wings. What's your favorite flavor? The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 32 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Crazy Lemon Twist, a savory, zesty, and citrusy taste of fresh lemon twist. The Jalapeno Cheddar, an acidic and spicy flavor completed with a burst of sharp cheddar. Or Crazy Sweet Heat, tangy sweetness followed by the heat. And that's just 3 of the amazing 32 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the Crazy Coop Special. Choose from 3 whole wings or 6 party wings, fries, and drink, all for just $9.99. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place, the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
This traffic report brought to you by Appliance Liquidators with low prices and top-notch customer service. Appliance Liquidators, 3320 Goodman Road East in South Haven.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still some heavy traffic coming in right now from Collierville, but it's moving on Bill Morris Parkway 385 as you work your way past Riverdale up in the Midtown area. Still looks good at the moment on 240 northbound over here at Lamar. You may run into some rain as you travel down I-40 and parts of Arkansas this morning just west of West Memphis, so be careful. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry here in Memphis has specialized in bridal ring purchases since 1984. Stop by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by James Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:05 the time. Final hour for us this week here on Sports 56 Mornings. Getting you set for the sports weekend. Greg, Eli, and Zach broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Currently rainy, 67 degrees. That rain will intensify as the day gets going, and overnight there'll be some thunderstorms in the area. We're looking at a high of 75 right now. 68 for a low tonight. And again, rain in the forecast. There's more rain in the forecast tomorrow, but not a complete washout. There is going to be some sun, about a 60% chance of rain for your Saturday. And then your Sunday looks a lot better with about a 25% chance of rain. We're looking at highs in the mid to upper 80s. Hour 3 of the program brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. They are currently located at 6 East Commerce in Hernando, Mississippi, but they're moving to Horn Lake tomorrow. They'll open up at 2356 Goodman Road, so moving closer to the metropolitan Memphis area. They also have stores in Little Rock and Cleveland, Mississippi. They specialize in flooring and carpeting. So if it's your flooring, carpeting that needs help, you're looking for a whole new look, you need to head over to Jenkins Floors and More to their warehouse. SPC, WPC vinyls, which are scratch-resistant and waterproof, ceramic and porcelain tiles. They have hardwood by Portercraft. They have carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, platinum, or make that plantation shutters and blinds as well. All different styles, colors, granite, porcelain, so much more. Again, everything you're looking for, they have in one place. They also sell at wholesale, so they'll skip the middleman, save you lots of money in the process. This is for both residential and commercial. So homeowners and contractors, do yourself a favor. See what Jenkins Floors and More has to offer. They will install and do so with an unheard of 2-week turnaround. Give them a call. They'll come to you. They'll give you a free estimate, show you different samples. Just call them at 662-469-9350. Financing is available. All military and first responders get 10% off. Plus, Sports 56 listeners ask about your family discount. Jenkins Floors and More. Time now to talk about the upcoming draft, about a month away or thereabouts, and also the 24-25 Memphis Tigers basketball season as far as the roster that Penny Hardaway is putting together. As we bring on a friend of the show, Derek Murray, a guy who has covered basketball at every level, high school, college, NBA, for the scouting service. There's not too many that have more knowledge about the game than he does, and we appreciate Derek joining us now on Sports 56 Mornings. You can follow Derek on Twitter at Derek_Murray. Hey, Derek, how are you?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, it's always great to have you. I know you're making the rounds. You're jumping around city to city, and we appreciate you being on with us. I wanted to get your thoughts, bring you on to get your thoughts on twofold, like I just mentioned. But one is this draft coming up where the Memphis Grizzlies, unfortunately, had an injury-plagued season, as you know, and they're in the lottery, and they're picking ninth. Now, they could move up, they could move down. There's things that could happen. But right now, at that ninth position, there's going to be a lot of different options. And I wanted to get your thoughts on some of these players. And I wanted to start with a guy like Reed Sheppard, because he is a pure shooter. I don't know if he'd be available at number 9. How good a pro you think he's going to be?
Yeah, I think Reed is going to be very, very good. He was underrated severely coming out of high school, and I can understand why. You watch him at Kentucky, he's not the flashiest, and he wasn't in high school. Shot, near 50% from three, or was it above 50% from three at Kentucky. He didn't do that in high school, both in AAU or in school ball. So he's always been a great shooter, but not like prolific, elite, but everybody knew he was good. So a lot of NBA front offices are having to dive in to his shooting and deciding for themselves, can he actually shoot this well or close to it, or was this an outlier? And some teams say, hey, I'll trust the body of work out of high school where he's a mid to high 30% shooter. Others say, hey, he had enough attempts at Kentucky to where I believe that this is actually, sustainable. 52% from three. Let me see what those total numbers were. He hit 75 of 144. So again, some front offices say 144 is not enough compared to the 400 attempts maybe they have in high school. But 144 for others might be enough to say, no, we believe that this is real.
How would you compare his game to the other Kentucky guy, Rob Dillingham? Like, how do you compare and contrast those two guys?
I mean, I would say as polar opposites as you can get, both from, but in a good way, because they both can do things that the other cannot. Reed Sheppard, it's hard to project him as a strong on-ball creator in the NBA, which Memphis values, like being able to get your own shot at an efficient level. Dillingham, it looks herky-jerky. He's twitchy. He's considerably smaller in person, than probably a lot of people would think who cover the draft. But his ability to get his own shot, I do think will translate. So it really will they're both Grizzly-type players in extraordinarily different ways. My thing with Sheppard, I talked to somebody yesterday when I was on the road. I think that the floor for Sheppard, my gut is that the floor for Sheppard is 7. And I think there are a handful of people that think there are teams in the 8 to 15 range that are going to try to trade up to picks 3 or 4 to actually take Sheppard. So I think he is one of the early top 5 trade-up candidates where you're going to see one of these teams come out of nowhere, so-and-so has traded all these picks to go up to 3, 4, 5, to jump people to go take Reed Shepherd. So at 9, I think you have to go get him.
How about a guy like Stefan Castle, who comes from national champion UConn?
Yeah, another one that rose late in the rankings out of high school. Good size for a guard. 6'6", 210, like big kid. Strong, get to the rim, finish in a variety of ways. Showed he can hit his shots, play hard on defense. It does a lot of the right things. I think some teams are a little bit confused or concerned with, hey, why is he declining workouts for teams that have point guards in place? Because I think he can give you some minutes as a point guard, but at 6'6", it's hard to project him as a long-term starting one, because a 6'6" true point guard is like an all-NBA type guy, and there's just not that many of them. So I think some teams are kind of rubbed the wrong way there. I would be very comfortable taking him at 9. Some of the mocks I've seen have him going there at 9, and I think he's pure talent. He's probably a little better. So if he's available at 9, there are going to be some other names that I think come into play, but he's a definite, solid, good choice. I would have no hesitation making that call.
Another UConn guy who fits a need for the Grizzlies is Donovan Clingan. What do you think of him, and what's his floor? Any chance he's available at 9?
He's really hard to get a read on right now. So some people I talk to think he can get to 11, 12. The Thunder obviously need rebounding. Memphis needs rebounding. Utah could use some as well, especially with Markkanen being on the perimeter. So that 9, 10, 11, 12 could make sense. I have heard as high as 2. And it's really, really interesting, because when's the last time we saw a true big man go that high? And he can move fairly well, but he's not some fluid, mobile. He's not Chet, Jabari. So looking back to that draft, there's not really a comp, not really a 3-point threat. Free throw percentage was down. But when you look at the impact on both ends, it's real. So he's, almost like things in the business world, supply and demand. Like, hey, a lot of teams do need a true center. And in a normal year, that's not valuable. But he has emerged as the one up there at the top that everybody's going to want, and it could skyrocket where he goes.
Yeah, I can't speak for the Grizzlies. I don't know what they're thinking, but I know what they need, and they need a big, and whether or not they would want to move up for him or feel that he could be available at 9, which I find hard to believe. But my question for you would be, let's say Clingan is off the board. Sarr will be off the board for sure. At number 9, again, this gets into the old best player available or need. Memphis needs a big. Let's say they zero in on a big. Is there anybody aside from those two I mentioned, Clingan and Sarr, that's a center that you would take at 9?
No.
Okay.
At that point, I would go with a big guard or one of these big skilled wings. 9, I would have a hard time. Again, I think Filipowski and Yves Missy are great. I think De Silva is great. I would have a very hard time taking them with a Connect, Holland, Castle, Salon, Jacoby Walter on the board. That would be difficult for me to do.
Okay.
Especially knowing how the Grizzlies operate and what they value. I don't think they would take one of those bigs.
And I agree with that, too.
You mentioned Dalton Connect. Obviously, a lot of folks here are very familiar with him from his year at Tennessee, which was spectacular. What do you see him as? How do you see him at the NBA level, and where do you see him going range-wise in the draft?
With real size, I think he can play the 2 or the 3. I think he can show that. He can pass a little bit, too. So I don't think you're ever getting minutes at the 1. But I think 2, 3, if you really wanted to push it, a small ball 4, I see him going anywhere from 5 to 12 is probably the range. If I really wanted to zero in 5 to 10, I would be shocked if he is not at least extremely high on the Grizzlies. Let's see how we feel about this list. I haven't heard any kind of automatic connection there or promise or anything like that. But based on the numbers and the way they've drafted in the past, he has to be up there for them.
Derek Murray, who covers all types of basketball from high school to the NBA for the scouting service, joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. You can follow him on Twitter at Derek_Murray. A name that's been thrown out there an awful lot in mocks at number 9 is Ron Holland What can you tell us about him?
Before the season started, I probably would have taken Ron Holland at number 1 in this draft.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I know that's out there for a lot of people. For some, it's a hot take. For those who really specify in scouting high school basketball, those of us who do that are probably the ones with that opinion. So Ron at Duncanville High School in Dallas, absolutely dominant. At that size, he's 6'8", almost 200 pounds. He's fluid, mobile, can bring the ball up the floor, can handle, can dish. Yes, there were glaring issues in the G League. There's no looking past that. I do not want to make an excuse for that in any way. I don't think I would take him 1 today. But going into the season, that is how highly regarded how highly I regarded him. He is extraordinarily competitive, wired mentally in a way that you would want, where he just does not care what you think. He's here to win games, and nobody's opinion matters. So, yes, the G League was obviously up and down. I can't remember what he ended up averaging, close to 26 and 3, 20, 6, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to like. Gatorade Player of the Year. McDonald's, Hoop Summit, all this stuff. I think he's being discounted a little bit. I do, and I know that again sounds nuts, but when he's mocked at 9 a lot, I think he ends up between 5 and 10.
Yeah, I was disappointed because when the Ignite came here to play the Hustle, he was injured. He didn't play either one of the 2 games. I really wanted to see him play in those games, and he wasn't able to do that. What is your opinion on Zach Edey and what he could be at the NBA level?
I do think he'll end up a first-round pick. Some NBA teams have Klingon way ahead of him on their boards. Others have them basically right next to each other.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, and it kind of comes down to what you value. They're only, a year and a half, 2 years apart age-wise. Edey is bigger. Edey has shown that over the last couple of years he's actually gotten, he's still not quick, but he's gotten quicker. And if the case for Klingon is he's effective on both ends, it's hard. I have a hard time listening to, but Edey is not, because he actually is. So I think Klingon goes in that, top 7 range. I think Edey goes 20 to 30. I think based on the money of lifetime contracts, how much you have to spend on a rookie deal, there's an argument to be made that Edey on a team picking in the 20s becomes more effective early in his career for a team that's already kind of good and just needs a big than Klingon on a team that's bad and drafted in the lottery. So I think we might see early on the first 2 years, Edey might actually put up better numbers because he's in a good system. The long term with the 2-year age difference doesn't seem like much, but in NBA draft years, that's forever. And that's why I think Klingon ends up going before him.
I'm sure you've seen Bronny, all the talk about Bronny. What do you think about him at the next level, and is it ludicrous for some people to even be suggesting a first-round selection?
I wouldn't take him in the first. I wouldn't. I think him wanting to be a pro, him staying in the draft, and him being on people's boards in the second round, I don't think any of that is crazy at all.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, what kind of rubbed me the wrong way with the media all year is that a lot of these media sites kept calling him 6'4", 6'5". And again, us who cover high school, when you see him in person year after year, the media pushed this narrative on him that was false. So a lot of people now that he measured, 6'2" at the combine, now they're killing the kid for something he never asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's extremely unfair. So I don't blame a team for picking him in the second at all. He had a rough year at USC. Yes. I have seen him over high school the last couple of years absolutely be a flamethrower from 3. So 6'2", I think you have to develop his point guard skills a little bit more because it's NBA 2 guards are 6'6", 6'7" nowadays. I think he'll have to develop some point guard skills, but he really, really can shoot it. So he's probably sped up a year in the process of would a year going back to college benefit him? Yes. But a lot of the media that's killing him, I do think it's unfair. So I think he goes mid to late second.
Speaking of guys who measured shorter, David Jones from the University of Memphis ends up measuring 6'3.5". He was listed at 6'6" at Memphis. Is he any way he sneaks into the second round?
Yes, there are a lot of people that really, really like him. And again, like listed 6'6", everybody who's seen him his whole life, it's like, what are we doing? and I don't even mean to dog the kid. It's probably not his fault they listed him. It's funny, Eric Fossey, who is a really, really good college basketball or high school basketball analyst for 247 in Kansas City at this camp we were just at. He said, hey, rule number 1, always take 2 inches off the listed height. Just off the bottom at camp rosters, just take 2 inches off, and like that's the reality. So I appreciate that people are kind of learning how tall some of these guys are. David can really score. The last 2 years, he's averaged almost 80% from the free throw line, and 2 steals per game. Those are 2 things that NBA teams love as projection numbers, and he's consistent. So yes, the 3-point shooting over his career has been up or down, but consistent free throw shooting, consistent activity with his hands on defense, and again, 6'3", 210 is not small. It's just smaller than you would have liked. So I think there's a chance he slides into that in that 50s range, yes, for sure.
I'm with you. I've always thought this guy's a second-round pick, but I don't make the selections, and I'm looking at the mocks, and these guys are pretty good at what they do, and he's not there. All right, let me turn our attention now, or let us turn our attention to, since we brought up Memphis, Eli brought up David Jones. This was a guy that Memphis expected to be back. Coach Penny Hardaway expected him to be back. He will not be back. It is going to be a completely new team. I wanted to get your thoughts real quick, kind of rapid fire, on some of these guys that they were able to get in the portal. Tyrese Hunter, a guy who started at Iowa State, started out really well, and kind of just, was okay at Texas. What do you think of his game and him to be kind of one of the studs that Memphis is going to need for him to be big to have a great year?
So as a whole, I'll say this, from a pure scoring talent perspective, I think Memphis had one of the best transfer portal classes. Like, they brought in some real dudes. My question is, guys like Hunter, guys like Haggerty, what does it look like together? Because a lot of these players, Hunter included, are most often score-first guys who excel on their own. Now, Hunter, I think, is the best passer. Had 4 assists a game. At Texas, he probably, what were the numbers? He scored maybe a little bit less than people expected, but he did pass more than people expected. Because that first year at Texas, he only averaged about 2 assists. This year it was 4. So I think he's a good, experienced guy to come in and run the offense. Guys down at Texas really trusted him. They liked having him around, worked hard, can score. Shooting gets streaky at times and sometimes can get a little bit too shot-happy. But I think this Memphis team will be talented enough that he won't feel like, oh, I have to do this myself. There are going to be scorers around him that I think he'll actually end up as like maybe a 4 or 5 or 6 assists per game kind of guy because they built that kind of roster.
What do you think of Dane Danger?
Dane is an interesting one because I didn't think he'd end up at Memphis. There were a lot of people trying to go get him. So the fact that Memphis won that recruiting battle, even though his stats weren't, super sexy, I think it was, 6 points a game or something like that. It's a big win. He is a massive human being. 6'8", 6'9", 270, I believe is the listed. Had some great games, some poor games last season. So you like him or you hate him depending on the film you watch. I watched 9 minutes against UConn. He didn't do anything. Had a couple blocks, but that was it. But in the first round of the tournament, had 21 in 20 minutes, 21, 8, and 2 in 20 minutes. And you're like, okay, I see what this guy can become. He and Cisse next to each other, I'm not totally sure how it works because they are both very, very interior specific players on the offensive end. So you could look at some clogged paints or only playing one at a time. But I do like Danger. I think Memphis kind of came out of nowhere to close that deal, which was a great job by their staff.
Yeah, I think they'll play. They won't play together. I mean, there could be some times that they do, but I think for the most part they won't play together. Colby Rogers, a 40% three-point shooter from Wichita State. Last year, Memphis went out and got Jaquan Walton. They thought the same thing, and he ended up not being the shooter that they had hoped he would be. Can Colby Rogers shoot that rock at that percentage or at least around that to help Memphis with their outside shooting?
Yeah, Colby Rogers is cold. He is really good. He was one of the most highly coveted offensive players in the transfer portal. period. Like that, he is a career at Cal Poly, Siena, and Wichita State. He is a career 39.2% three-point shooter on 627 attempts. Like that's absurd. Like this kid can actually shoot. He's actually 6'3", 6'4", big, strong, career 81% from the free throw line. Now, you're not going to get a ton of assists. He doesn't want to get in there and rebound a whole lot. You're not going to get a ton of blocks. You're not going to get a ton of steals.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not scoring 12, 13, 14 a night, there's a little bit of where's the impact come from. But I do believe he's a floor spacer. He's a shooter. He is going to be able to pull defenses off of Tyrese Hunter and P.J. Haggerty pretty effectively.
All right, final thing for you. Obviously, you lose David Jones. You lose nearly 22 points per game, about 8 rebounds per game. And you like this class. You like what Penny has done so far. But he's not done. He's still looking in the portal. And we know after the announcement of the players that were coming back to school that there are a number of guys that are available. And there were a number of guys even before that are still available in the portal. 2 guys that their names have come up, stories out there that Memphis and Penny's looking at. I wanted to get your thoughts on these 2 guys. One is Jameer Watkins from Florida State, the 6'7" wing who averaged nearly 16 a game. And the other is Trayvon Brazile, who played at Arkansas. How do you like those guys? And these are 2 just being rumored that Memphis could be looking at.
Yeah, I think I would prefer Watkins, but these are going to be 2 extremely wild recruitments, to say lightly. These are going to be absolutely crazy because Brazile has shown that he can shoot the ball, move well, and be explosive at 6. I know that he has some wild offers coming his way, all the blue blood, everybody big. Same with Watkins. I think these recruiting battles are going to be really, really tight, and it's going to be some heavy hitters. Like, honestly, all the blue bloods, any team with NIL money left to spend in the portal, teams that, quite frankly, can go get more NIL money to spend in the portal, like, these are 2 of the names that are going to get that. So I think if you can get one, like if you can land even one, it is a monstrous win. 1, because they can both score. 2, because they're both huge kids. Mm-hmm. So Memphis walks into the conference play next year, and just like other than Tyrese Hunter, everybody's big, which is super important right now.
He is Derek Murray from the Scouting Service. Follow him on Twitter at Derek_Murray. You may see him at a gym near you, traveling the country. Derek, as always, thank you. Great insight. Really appreciate your time.
Of course. Thanks so much, guys.
Take care.
Classic Arms, when it comes to guns and any gun supplies, well, the folks at Classic Arms have everything you could imagine. Over 700 firearms in stock. If you're looking for a new gun, they got new guns. If you're looking for a used gun, well, they got used guns. If you're trying to sell a gun, well, they buy. They'll also trade. Whatever it is you're looking to do, the folks at Classic Arms, if it's dealing with guns, they do it for you. Classic Arms is located at 1740 Germantown Parkway. It's right behind Corky's, the shopping center there behind Corky's on Germantown Parkway. They also do free gun inspections and free gun appraisals, free bore sighting as well. They guarantee the lowest price in town with all the top brand names, whether it be Glock or SIG, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, all of the top names. They've got them for you. Again, over 700 firearms in stock, plus ammo and safes and everything else that you need in the world of guns. You'll find it at Classic Arms. Again, 1740 Germantown Parkway, or you can shop online 24/7 at classicarmsofmemphis.com.
When we come back, 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. If you were with us at the beginning of the show, I already told you that this is going to be easy. And we already got folks on the Sports 56, make that the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. So you got to hope that the people right now that are in front of you screw up, because this one's going to be a gimme. But you might as well get in line just in case. 360-8255, 901-360-8255. We play 10 in a row when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Hey, down south, I've got Marty McMahon getting back to the past on these prices at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
This is heavy, Doc. I mean, Randy, let's go with 42 MPG Highway and a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for $249 a month. Or take your pick from a 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE for only $279.28 a month.
Great Scott, McNate! You got it going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown on Winchester Road. Let me hit those deals again. 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month, or take your pick. 2024 Tiguan S or Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
Your future's whatever you make of it, Randy, so let us help you make your future down here at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettBWG.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duckhead dress shirts, duckhead caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Times Ranch jeans. Done, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:35 the time. It's been a fun show. Hope you've enjoyed it. Now we want to make somebody a winner. It's time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's 10 in a row. It's the game show that has swept the nation. It is brought to you by both the Napa Cafe and the Owner's Box. Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill. It's in Lakeland at the Lakeland Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, comfortable. I mean comfortable. Wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games. So whether it be the NBA Finals, which start next week, and this weekend you got the Canadian Open on the PGA Tour, Stanley Cup playoffs, whatever the case may be, it's always a good time to head on up to Lakeland at the Lakeland Town Square and the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill. All over the top taps for all your favorite beers, including non-alcoholic and local craft beers. And in front of the wall, they got the full bar for all your favorite beverages, including a full wine list. They have an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials and events. You've found all your sports in the one right place. It's the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland at the Lakeland Town Square. Take advantage of their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 until 3. Got some unbelievable food and some great prices on that food, from hot ham and cheese sliders to quesadillas, the buffalo chicken wraps, to salads and sliders of all types. It's the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill.
And Napa Cafe, if you've got a special occasion coming up and you want to celebrate in a real special way, how about the wine cellar, the private wine cellar over at Napa Cafe? That makes for a great, beautiful night out. But it doesn't have to be that. It can just be for anything. If you just want to go get a great meal, head on over to Napa Cafe. They're open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. You could go to the website for reservations at napacafe.com. Start with one of their great appetizers, like their baked sweet piquillo pepper stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella. Maybe one of the great entrees, like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs. They've got some great seafood items like the sea bass. They got all kinds of great things. Some great desserts, including their signature dessert cocktails as well. Maybe it's just go over to the bar, have a drink, and have one of the appetizers. Any way you do it, Napa Cafe is going to make for a great night out, a great meal over at 5101 Sanderlin. Again, napacafe.com is the website where you can make reservations, check out the menu. You can dine in or you can dine out. Curbside pickup for their entire menu is available at Napa Cafe. Again, 5101 Sanderlin, and online at napacafe.com. The winner of 10 in a row will get a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe, along with a $25 gift certificate to Mugshots Grill and Bar out in Collierville and in Olive Branch, 2 locations of that. I had a couple of Malco movie passes.
All right, here's the question. Easy. NBA, Major League Baseball, or NFL teams with an animal for a nickname. And that's reptiles, fish, birds, mammals, whatever. NBA, Major League Baseball, or NFL teams, I will give you the sport and the city. You got to come up with the nickname in your head and tell me if it's a yes or is it a no. Again, reptiles, right? Mammals, fish, birds, they're all included. If they are that, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. In fact, if I said, Eli, Memphis, NBA,
I'd say yes.
That would be a yes, because that would be a grizzly bear. That's how easy it is. Let's get going.
Joe is first up. Hey, Joe.
Joe!
Hey, guys. Good to be back. School's out for the summer.
Oh, congratulations on another year. Hopefully it was a great year.
Summer.
Enjoy the summer, Joe. All right, let's see if you enjoy it by starting off with a win in 10 in a row. Again, NBA, Major League Baseball, or NFL teams with an animal for a nickname. Again, reptiles, fish, birds, mammals. It's all included. Detroit, NFL.
Yes.
Boston, Major League Baseball.
No.
Jacksonville, NFL.
Yes.
San Francisco, Major League Baseball.
No.
Arizona, Major League Baseball.
Diamondback is an animal, yes.
Minnesota, NBA.
Yes.
Baltimore, MLB.
Yes.
Kansas City, NFL.
No.
Golden State, NBA.
No.
Boston, NBA.
No.
Told you it was easy, and when you got Joe, one of our 10 in a row Hall of Famers, he makes it look easy. Joe, you're a winner.
Congratulations, Joe. Hold on. Zach will tell you how to get your prizes.
All right, Eli, there's a load of folks on the lines right now. There is a list that's in front of me that has not been touched. Are we doing second chance?
What the heck? I'm in a good mood. I'll give a freebie.
Okay. Who's first?
Dan.
Hello, Dan.
What's up, Dan?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Going well. It's as easy as Joe made it look, and it's as easy as this question sounds. NBA, Major League Baseball, or NFL teams with an animal for a nickname, and again, that includes everything. Reptiles, fish, birds, mammals. All right, here we go. Utah, NBA.
No.
Atlanta, Major League Baseball.
No.
Texas, Major League Baseball.
No.
San Diego, Major League Baseball.
No.
Chicago, NFL.
Yes.
Philadelphia, NBA.
No.
Miami, NFL.
Yes.
Detroit, NBA.
No.
Minnesota, Major League Baseball.
No.
Chicago, NBA.
Yes.
There you go. Told you it'd be easy today. Good job, Dan.
Thank you.
Dan will get the prize package put together for you as well. Hold on.
See, it pays to get in there early. That's what I'm trying to direct our listeners to get it. They want to wait around for the questions and look them up and all that. This is one. Obviously, people who listen to sports radio, they're sports fans. You got to know these. I didn't even go for like Major League Soccer and try to confuse. Didn't even go for the NHL, for goodness sakes. That's probably the easiest question I ever asked. So there you go. That's 10 in a row. We do it each and every Friday. It is brought to you by two great sponsors, Napa Cafe and the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back with our final segment of the week. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
Looking for a new show to dive into? Well, go to Hulu and see what's new, because Hulu has new stuff all the time, like the full season of FX's epic limited series Shogun, FX's new international spy thriller The Veil, starring Emmy and Golden Globe winner Elizabeth Moss, and don't miss the all-new crime series Under the Bridge, inspired by shocking true events and starring Riley Keough and Lily Gladstone. It's all new, and it's streaming right now on Hulu.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the bike, so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Incentives price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE $78169, MSRP $21,820. Plus finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:45 the time.
Coming up Sunday night, 6 o'clock out at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. The Showboats will wrap up their season hosting the Houston Roughnecks, trying to end their losing streak and trying to earn the number one pick in the UFL draft. They have put that on the line for this matchup. Not for the losing team. There's no tanking here. You got to win to earn the number one pick in the battle between these two teams. Of course, the Roughnecks, the team that the Showboats beat this year back in week 1 down in Houston. They'll try and make it 2-0 against Roughnecks. Both teams coming in at 1-8 on the year. I do have a pair of tickets for Sunday's game. If you'd like to go see some football action out at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium Sunday night against 6 o'clock kickoff. Caller number 3 at 360-8255, 360-8255. Pair of tickets for Sunday's game between the Showboats and the Roughnecks. 360-8255 for a pair of tickets for the game.
By the way, how does that UFL draft work?
They draft players.
Yeah, how does it work? Because you can't draft guys that are going to be drafted in the NFL, and the NFL drafts after the UFL draft. And it's not a dispersal draft because
they'll have a pool of players who are
so what do they do
for the draft?
I mean, they ask players who know they're not going to be picked in the NFL draft. How does that work?
Again, I don't know if I don't know how they get it, but I'll have a pool of players and they'll draft them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just curious how they get a pool of players when they draft before the NFL, because you would think after the NFL draft is over, all these players would be available, but the UFL season had already begun. I'll be curious to see how that works out. Now, last year was different. Last year we had that dispersal draft, which was kind of cool, picking from the teams that were let go and then combining the two leagues, the XFL and the USFL. This one
But they saw that. I mean, it's not like they haven't had drafts before.
I know. I'm trying to remember how they worked. I mean, you go up to, okay, so, hey, we're going to take Caleb Williams with the first pick. Oh, no, you're not. So how do you get a list of those players that you know will not be selected in the NFL draft?
Well, you're not going to get guys who are coming out of college this coming season, though. It's guys who have already been out who probably.
There you go.
I mean, again, that's how they're going to get most of their players.
There you go. That's what I want. Just a little clarification on that. So they won't take guys that are coming out and are draft eligible.
I mean, after the NFL drafts, you could sign guys. Like they did it this past year. There are guys that didn't go drafted, and they signed it at the UFL.
Exactly. No, I understood that part. I just was wondering how they did. That makes sense now. If the players that are coming out this year.
There'll be guys who are on practice squads in the NFL.
No, I understand all that
stuff
part.
That'll make themselves available for the UFL.
But the NFL draft, the players that are available for the NFL draft coming out of college for the upcoming season and subsequent seasons after that would not be eligible for the draft. It would be players from previous years, and then, of course, players that aren't drafted in the NFL draft would be free game to go anywhere. Okay, that makes a lot more sense than trying to figure out when the hell they're going to do that with the timing of everything. So we talked about the finals last night in the Western Conference where Dallas eliminated Minnesota. Minnesota rolled over like dogs, losing 124-103 in game number 5. At home, by the way, and they struggled at home. Again, that home court advantage. Take it for what it's worth. I mean, Boston only lost a couple of times in the playoffs. They were both at home for some reason. I don't know. It's weird. But the Mavs win the series 4-1, and they get a dominating performance from Luka Doncic. That game was over in the first 10 minutes with what Doncic did. So I was looking at a tweet a moment ago about Luka Doncic, and it has his resume to date. He's 25 years of age, by the way, for those who don't know. He averages for his career 29 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. He nearly averages a 30-point triple-double. Nearly. 5 years, 5-time All-NBA first team. 5-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, 24 scoring leader, 4th highest scoring game ever, 73 points, and now just named the Western Conference Final MVP. There's still people that have an issue with him. If it's an issue about him complaining about every single call, then okay, I understand. I got a problem with that. But his game, there's still some people that have an issue with his game.
It's 6 years, 5 first-team All-NBAs.
Okay, thank you. Still damn good.
Rookie year, or he was Rookie of the Year, but he was not All-NBA.
Okay, but pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason Tatum for the Celtics, I don't have his resume in front of me, but I'm sure it looks really, really good as well. One of the great players in the NBA. Dallas is going to meet Boston in the final. Is this going to be more important for Jason Tatum or more important for Luka Doncic to win the title? When you take everything into consideration, Dallas was a 5 seed out of the West. Boston was the number 1 team in the NBA. Tatum, I think Tatum sometimes gets the benefit of the doubt because he's such a great player. I think it's obviously, in my opinion, more important for Tatum. But maybe people disagree with that. What about you? What do you think? As far as getting a chip right now, still early in their basketball lives. They're not old farts here. These guys will have many more years and productive years, but you can never say whether or not a team will be back, if a team will be imploded. You don't know the future. Nobody's Nostradamus out there.
Tatum, by the way, 3-time first-team All-NBA, 1 third-team in his 7 seasons. As I said before, it's Jason Tatum because they're favored and they've been knocking on the door. So it's time. Like, you've been to the finals, you've been to the conference finals, however many times. I don't remember how many times it is. He's been in the conference finals now in his career. They're the best record in the NBA. Dallas is a 5th seed in the Western Conference, so there's no. I mean, Boston is supposed to win this. So this is, and again with Tatum, when you keep getting close, it's time to win one.
Yeah, I think they'll still somehow figure out. Some people criticize Doncic if they lose, but yeah, this is more on Tatum. And it's not one person's fault, win or lose. One thing that shouldn't happen is if Boston does get beaten this series is they pile on Jason Tatum. But they're going to do that too. They're going to pile on Tatum, not so much.
It depends how he plays. If he's great and they still lose, or if he's terrible and they lose, there's a big difference.
Yeah, but they'll still pile on. They'll say that he didn't carry his team to the win. Yeah, he put up numbers. He put up stats, but he didn't carry his team to win. Doncic will catch some of that flack too, although not as much as Tatum. And he doesn't deserve to catch as much flack. In fact, I don't think he deserves to catch flack whatsoever. But Tatum will catch some. He'll catch some shrapnel. Dallas goes in this thing with house money. They lose, they're not expected to win. They're a plus 180. Boston is a minus 225 to win the series. As I've said, and maybe I'm a tough grader, I'm a tough teacher. I just said Minnesota. I hated how they lost last night, how they didn't compete. That was ridiculous. But Minnesota had a great year. Oklahoma City had a great year. Dallas has had a great year. I don't care what Boston did up to this point. People talking about how great they are. They only lost a couple of games in the playoffs. I understand all that. If they don't get it done, it's a disaster. And I'm telling you, if you know any Bostonians, ask them. They will say the same thing. Even Stan Van Gundy talked about that one of the games. They are expected to win, and if they don't win, it is a huge, huge disappointment. But it's more than a disappointment, in my opinion. They need to get the job done. And if they get the job done, Jason Tatum goes to that next level because he'll also be able to ride the accolades of doing something like accomplishing a team goal of winning a title to go along with all his individual accomplishments. He's put onto another tier with a chip. These great players have to have chips. That's why Dan Marino was a great player for the Dolphins, but he is hurt by that. Charles Barkley was a great player, but he was hurt by not having a championship. And Doncic, certainly, you look at him and go, yeah, he's a great player, just like you look at Tatum. But he will need to get a championship. If not this time, eventually get one. And some say multiple championships to solidify your standing in the annals of history of whatever sport that may be. There's great storylines. You mentioned the return of Kyrie Irving to Boston. That's going to be something. And Porzingis against his former team, will Porzingis be able to go? I think he probably will.
I would think so. I mean, there was talk about him returning in this series if it had gone longer.
Right.
I would assume that with another week off after the series that he would be able to play, and that'll be a huge addition for them, no question. He is still a fantastic player, and the size that he gives them, he will be a welcome addition for them to have him back.
Well, hopefully Michael Finley gives Lucas back his beer, and everybody can get along this weekend. Folks, we hope you have a great weekend. We thank you for listening this week. As always, we appreciate your calls, appreciate your texts, and just being loyal listeners to our show for so long. We want to thank our guests, John Varlas, Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis, and Derek Murray. On Monday, we will be broadcasting live from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Tournament. We'll be out at TPC Southwind. They're recognizing Joe Theismann, and depending on how well Joe's playing out there, who knows, maybe he'll stop by and say hello to us sometime during the 3-hour period from 7 to 10. Well on, friends, on Sports 56 is coming up next, so stay tuned for that. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody.